Off this talk, you know.
All right, everybody. I want to say thank you for joining in. If you're going to watch us, thank you for watching us later. We're going to be talking about the 1992 Batman Returns, the last of the Batman movies of that era that did not involve nipples. I know that sounds weird, but go back and watch them, and you'll understand. Now, today I am here with Omanal, Shadow and Sun, which Jack will be here momentarily after he's done prettying himself up because he's a pretty princess, and Mark. And as I said, we're going to talk about Batman, which had Danny DeVito, Michael Keaton, Christopher Walken, and some blonde chick that wore a cat suit. Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold that Mark, whatever his name is, the singer was talking about in that song from early mid 2000s. Anyways, so everybody understood the assignment. We all watched the movie. Let's go down. Let's do the actors. Which of the actors stood out the most for you?
Oh, come on. That's so hard to say because you got Dave DeVito, Christopher Walken. You've got, Michael Keaton, though, is really subdued. But, man, I just love Dave DeVito. He went over the top, and Christopher Walken always steals whatever scene he's in. So.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Although the little guy is gonna go and gush about Danny DeVito when he gets his turn because he just freaking loved him and loves everything DeVito's ever been in that he's ever seen him in. And I told him about Taxi, which if you're going to be a Danny DeVito fan, you got to start at the beginning because not only do you get to see Danny DeVito, but you get to see Andy Kaufman. Before it was too late. And
Christopher
Lloyd. Yeah.
Lloyd himself.
Jim. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Before who else got their first break there too?
Ted Danson.
Yeah.
No.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks.
Also was there.
Right, but Tom Hanks was in one episode where he played one of Reverend Jim's stoner friends and actually got Reverend Jim to partake for his very first time. And he went from being
he was a straight-laced Ivy League guy. Yeah.
Right, he took one bite of a brownie and instantly his hair went and it was in that scene. Tom Hanks did something incredibly funny, even though I can't stand him. If you go back and you can watch that episode, you will laugh your ass off because it is just iconic.
I'm going to say this much, though. It's one thing for me to look at it. I watched it with my son, and he thought it was wonderful to watch this movie as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really wanted to watch the first one with him, but as always, we were last minute and we did it Friday because we knew we had other stuff Saturday and then Sunday. We just, didn't have the. I mean, I know we had 3 weeks to watch it, but we had house guests for 10 days and other stuff. But we got to watch it, and I really wanted him to watch the first one, even though it's a standalone. You don't need to watch the first one if you just want to watch this one for some reason. You could. He watched it. He was like, okay, I get it. Even the part with Vicky Vale, I barely had to explain to him that, he committed the cardinal sin of allowing a normie into the Batcave, which you just don't do. I don't care if it's Catwoman, unless it was Julie Newmar, in which case you're kicking Alfred out, and oh God, Julie Newmar. She was literally my first crush as a youngster. To this day, that woman is just freaking amazing. Just gonna leave it there.
10,000 BC or whatever.
Yes. I wasn't allowed to watch that one until much later for obvious reasons. Not allowed. I just wasn't able to because it wasn't on TV. But Julie Newmar was every afternoon, unless it was Eartha Kitt, who I really didn't like as Catwoman, but I loved her in everything else I ever saw her in. And if you ever get the chance to check out her biography,
I can't do it. But when she did the whole perfect as Catwoman, it was on point.
She just here's the thing. You could just tell. See, with Batman and Catwoman, there's some chemistry going on there. Okay,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, but not with Eartha Kitt. There was none. You could just see she was like, "Who's this pudgy white guy I got to pretend to suck up to?" You know what I mean? Whereas Julie Newmar, she's like, "Batman, yeah, I'm on it, not a problem." You know what I mean? Just go back and watch, and you'll see there's like this barrier. You know what I mean? Just keeping them apart.
All right, let's keep this over in the movie and not all the other Batman. Hey, Mark,
we could have a Batman month, but not right now.
Oh, come on!
All right, Mark, who did you? Which character stuck out for you?
To me, the character, I would say, the set dressing or the backdrop, the whole over the top Art Nouveau, Art Deco. I think he even went more. Like it or love it, Tim Burton's all you know his style when you see it. It just I think he went even more over. Yeah,
go ahead, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
I just think he went more over the top even in this one than he did with the first one. With Gotham City was a character in and of itself. In this one, I think even more so than the first Batman he did. In my opinion.
Do you guys remember the very beginning, the scene where they're looking into the water, the parents? Even the water, that one scene, you could tell he was in charge of that water. Just, the blackness of the water, you could just, it was like, this is a Tim Burton movie. If all I saw was a photograph of just that water, I'd be like, Tim Burton, he did it.
Well, the whole thing where the carriage is going down, it almost felt like a Moses thing, oddly enough.
Oh, yeah.
As it's floating down, and I went,
yep.
It is so Tim Burton. And what also gets me about it was I went, wow. I mean, they went full bore on that with the everything inside. I agree, Mark. You know what, Mark? I think that yours is the best answer.
Yeah.
I know. So I mean, you either like that style or you don't. I mean, I'm not 100% on board with it all the time either. Sometimes I don't get it or care for it, but he just went for it and took it full bore and just didn't hold back with it. So
the problem is I don't know who else of that generation, that decade of directors could done Batman Returns as well as Tim Burton did. I'm not a big Tim Burton fan,
right?
But I will give him props that he understood what was in front of him and he ran with it. You want me to do something dark and gothic that just happens to have Batman in it? I am all about it. But his original approach with Batman, at least with the first one, I know we don't mean to, but we're going to have to hop over to the first one and talk about this one to a minor bit. But his idea was he was originally going to cast Robin Williams to play the Joker and Bill Murray to play Batman. He wanted to do the 1960s Adam West, God fucking shoot me, Batman instead of what we got.
I can see the Bill Murray with the way Michael Keaton's hair was. They had the same sort of hairline and facial structure. And Robin Williams,
he would
that would have been incredible. But I think it would have taken it down that notch or put it more over the campy side than what Jack Nicholson did, even though. He was just, playing himself, kind of.
I see Robin Williams as a better Riddler for whatever reason, in my opinion.
You know what? Yeah. That would.
What's his name? Anyway, that they did in the future with Jim Carrey. Anyway, I think what Tim Burton did was he got, which I have to give him a lot of credit because I remember the original 1989. And I know that Connell wasn't around that time. I mean, you were born, but you just don't remember all the.
It was.
About it.
Remember all the hype and the big.
I do remember. I remember the McDonald's commercials. I remember everything. Yeah, 89. Yes, I'll give you. I was young. 89. I was 6 years old.
No. I mean, all the people that were petitioning not to put in Keaton and Keaton nailed it in the first one. Once they did that moved it over. But looking at
Yeah,
the
that whole
campiness,
"let's get nuts" scene that did it. It was right then and there.
it was, but if you look at it, he did such a good job, and I want to forget the other ones in the '90s, but I think that he did such a good job of grabbing the old fans and bringing them into the darker, more adult version of Batman, and that was the big thing that I think that Tim Burton did, and that allowed him to do that. And the other part for it is as much as we can talk about all the campiness that goes around with it, which is just over the top and it's fun. The stuff with Michael Keaton's actually pretty serious, dead on. Very similar to what Christopher Nolan did.
I've always believed that it takes two different actors to be Batman and Bruce Wayne, because from a comic book point of view, Bruce Wayne died years ago, and it's only been Batman as soon as he picked out what his new personality was, he was Batman. So the Bruce Wayne to me was always kind of that James Bond suave, not dangerous. Well, he was dangerous, but suave. Where Batman was everything that James Bond wasn't. He doesn't talk unless he has to. He is brutal, absolutely, to the point where almost killing is an option. He doesn't kill, but if you look in the comic books and even in the movies, he beat the ever-living tar out of a lot of these guys. Hands down, no questions asked. So trying to ask an actor is like, hey, we want you to be this, for 40% of the film and this for the other 60% of the film, because that's normally how the Batman math works.
Kind of.
Sure.
I almost, like I said, I almost think it takes two different actors, and Michael Keaton was able to pull it off. He really was.
Absolutely.
Yep. I agree with that.
I was even like watching, because I was thinking, the same thing, or I have thought the same thing. I was watching the up close, scenes of Michael Keaton's face in the mask, and he even had maybe it was because the mask was tight or something, but he had a little bit different mouth. His face looked a little bit different, so it was, you couldn't easily, pick it off as like, hey, that's Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? And
it's believable. You have to. That's the other thing. You have to hire an actor that looks like he has the ability to be violent.
And
he's done that. He has done that in previous movies.
But I mean,
that's where some of the other Batmans, kind of falls short. I can't.
Yeah, can you imagine what would have happened? Because you know why he didn't want to do Batman 3.
Yes, because it got too colorful.
No, because the suit.
Oh,
he
he did an interview not that long ago where they asked him about, he got the script for Batman 3, and it was a round table conversation, and he was gun hole for it until he saw that a lot of the studios were saying, well, it's too dark. Can we add more colors and all this other nonsense to the film? And that's right when he's like, well, that's my exit call.
Because I heard him say that he hated the suit, and then
Shadow.
And then they fixed the suit just in time for Clooney to take over and ruin the,
Clooney wasn't next. It was Val Kilmer, then Clooney, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, was it?
Yeah.
I don't even remember seeing Val Kilmer, to be honest. I don't even remember him.
I think that's the same reason why Val Kilmer didn't want to do the next one when George Clooney took over.
No, he said that
nightmare.
The
said wearing that
crazy
costuming's just torture.
The other part, though, are you gonna bring Jack in? Okay.
No, we got Hunger really quick. He can
hey, Hunger!
Hey, Hunger!
My brother from another mother.
You got to stop going there. That is not your second home.
Hey, man, I kind of don't want to be in here, but it happens.
All right.
Whatever it takes to, keep you, on this side of the dirt,
If you need more,
I don't have cancer.
If you need more electrolytes,
didn't think you did.
Pretty good, okay.
But now they've got to do some scopes on me. So
yeah.
I've had like 3 tests and 4 CAT scans since Monday.
Did you faint again, or if you don't mind?
No, just internal bleeding issues.
Oh,
with
you
my
got-
stomach. No big deal.
We care about you, but we're getting so frustrated hearing this stuff. That's what it comes down to it.
And hey, can you do me a favor, Hundar?
What's up?
In Discord, can you send me a link to where we can get the shirts? Because my
Yes.
boy and I are ordering shirts like first thing Monday morning.
Well, I know there's a shirt in his collection that Jack should not be wearing.
Well, he doesn't even like t-shirts. To be honest, he really doesn't like to wear them. He's such a fancy pants that if it's not buttoned down, he's not. It's like
I remember those
I don't know
days.
who raised him, but you know
I got some news.
what?
We're going to be doing my 1,000 soon.
Wow, that's incredible.
1,000.
Jack Gamer, you need to give me your link.
1,000 subs.
Looking.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Man, I'm at a happy 65 right now. I'll be better when I get to a happy 69 for all the jokes that come along with that.
I was ready to stop at 420.
Yeah. So we're talking about Batman today. Have you seen Batman Returns, right?
Yes.
Since you're here, we might as well ask you some of these questions, if you don't mind.
You should have went back to where you returned from.
Oh, shots fired. Did you like Batman? Did you like Batman Returns?
It wasn't bad. I mean, for back in the day when it came out, it was like, oh shit, Batman movies. Yeah. But it wasn't. Looking back on it now from the newer Batmans, especially, you know, Batman Returns is good. The Dark Knight
Returns. So they try to do a Superman Returns and that flop, but we'll leave Superman alone today.
Yeah. I mean, the quintessential Batman movie is always going to be the one with Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Oh, man, this is where we're going to fight, but I'll wait till you're out of the hospital.
I mean, come on, they had the Prince doing the theme.
Jack Nicholson did not play the Joker. Jack Nicholson played Jack Nicholson in makeup.
Yeah,
That's what he always plays.
well,
With less makeup.
Jack Nicholson
Just less
was a better Joker than the Suicide Squad.
Cesar Romero?
Oh yeah, no. I'll give you that. He was a better Joker than Jared Leto. But my dog that I had as a kid played a better Joker than he did. There's only been really movie-wise, in my opinion, there's only been one good Joker, and that was Christian Bale.
No. You're talking about Heath Ledger.
You mean Heath
Heath Ledger, yeah, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger was really good, but I mean, you got to admit, guys, Cesar Romero was born to play the Joker for the time.
He
didn't shave his mustache.
Mustache.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to bring that up,
He
Art.
wouldn't lose that mustache. He painted his makeup over the mustache.
Oh, you
I'm
got
a proud Puerto Rican. I do not shave my mustache. I will
Joaquin Phoenix
make
did
it over.
a good job as the Joker.
I mean,
Cesar Romero, when I was a kid, in those he creeped me out as a Joker. He
Yeah.
kind of got under my skin. I know it was like supposed to be a real funny whatever, but
But he
kinda
was
made me
the Joker of the comic book. He looked
He
more
was.
like he looked like him. He flamboyant as hell. Not going to say anymore. He had it nailed, you know.
He did, yeah.
But
There's
you know,
Until yesterday.
there's only been two Jokers we're talking about, in my opinion. One of them was the voice of the Joker in the 1990s animated series.
I tell him.
Mark
I
Hamill.
know you don't like him as a person, but he played it as the role. He did it well.
that's the only voice he has, though. When he does voice acting, he does the
the
same thing.
Joker, and he plays the Joker. No, here's what Mark Hamill can play: Luke Skywalker and the Joker. That's it. I've seen him in other stuff. When he did the Trickster in the Flash CW show, he was the Joker. He plays the Joker so often because he is really good at that. And that's it. He's the definition. Well, not the definition, because he did do good as Luke Skywalker. But nowadays, he is just a one-trick pony. It's the Joker.
You have to understand, a lot of the modern actors from the 80s, almost 70s on, have always kind of been one-trick ponies. That's why they get pigeonholed in certain
like
type of movies.
Christian Slater or Nicolas Cage. Yeah, they kind of did their own stereotyping, typecasting themselves. It's like, yeah, I just want to do this. If you want me, here I am, but I'm just doing this.
Well, see, this is where we were talking about earlier with Christopher Lloyd doing such a good job. And Danny DeVito, I mean, come on.
Danny DeVito, let's go.
Better Penguin. I mean,
All right, wait. Before we go to Danny DeVito, there's a few other people we need to talk about in this movie that should get mentioned.
True. We should save the last hour of this show just.
We're not going to be talking about him for an hour long. I didn't kick him out. He disappeared on his own. I want that to be noted.
We can't forget Christopher Walken in Batman Returns.
Christopher Walken, exactly. Pee Wee Herman played the Penguin's dad in Batman Returns.
I like the.
You're kidding me.
No,
was that who that was?
That was Pee Wee Herman. That was the actor Paul Rubin, I think his name is.
I like the dude from Gotham more than I like the Danny DeVito.
Yeah, no, the guy who played the Joker, not Joker, the guy who played the Penguin in Gotham TV series was definitely a better Penguin. What was funny is Paul Rubin played the Penguin's dad yet again in the Gotham TV series. So he's been Penguin's dad in two different Batman movies.
Okay, I'm just gonna give a shout out to Burgess Meredith, man. Again, nailed it in the old series. I showed my son, and he's like, "What'd you say, Jack?" When I showed you that little clip of Burgess Meredith just doing that.
Well, you know what?
It'd be better if it was Danny DeVito.
I'm going to say as much as
I love that.
I love those when I was a kid. I cannot watch the 60s Star Treks or the 60s stuff anymore. I just can't do it. I even love Adam West for his stuff that he would do on other things. But anyway, they're some things are products of their time, and this definitely the movie was
absolutely
over the top.
There was a Flash TV show going on at this time. Christopher Reeves has basically put up his Superman tights at this junction. But could you imagine if we got a Justice League just out of Christopher Reeves, Michael Keaton, the guy who played the Flash? Granted, there wasn't Green Lantern, nor was there there was a Wonder Woman, but she was from a decade beforehand.
She would not have.
I like the dude who's playing Superman now. He's one of us.
Henry Cavill. To be fair, Christopher Reeve did, and we have to look at it this way because we're looking at, 30 years later. But Christopher Reeve really did bring that whole thing up of, hey, we can make.
I think he got the character best. It's just, it was the time wasn't right. You know what I mean? With all we can do, but as far as respecting the character and really getting the character what it's all about, Henry Cavill is great, and I think he's the best choice for Superman we can see right now. But Christopher Reeves in that first Superman movie, I
totally agree, especially Clark Kent.
Yeah,
that is another one of those double cast scenarios you run into with Superman. Unfortunately, you can't hide the actor's face with the cowl as well as you can with Batman.
That's the thing. He's able to. Nobody can believe.
Hey, look,
nobody can believe Clark Kent. This bumbling, clumsy guy can be Superman. Even if you look at him and see a resemblance, he is like, no, there's no way. So
I'm going to throw out an unpopular opinion. You guys are going to get pissed. Nobody would give two shits about Christopher Reeve if he hadn't gotten to that horse accident and become paraplegic.
I would buy that. I would buy that.
Other people like that.
I'm truly saddened that it happened to him.
Yeah, it sucks that it happened, but
at the same time, he would have probably just disappeared into the tomes of movie history as an actor. If nothing bad will ever happen to him.
No, because he was working on a movie at the time,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Back in
Yeah,
the
but you can't tell me.
90s, not 2020, in the early 90s.
Oh yeah. He would have got old, and who knows what he would have done, but he'd done so well from the Supermans that he had gotten other movie parts. He probably would have stuck around for another 10 years, and aged gracefully or not, and done a few more movies.
I'm not sure what would have happened to Christopher Reeve is they would have brought him back as
Jor-El.
Jarrell.
Yes, they would have brought him back just to do a fan nod.
Yep.
That would
Yep.
have been- Anyway, let's focus on this movie instead of talking.
Oh,
about
my
Right.
God.
Right.
Anyway,
Now, I got one more thing to bring up. You can't tell me that they could not get a better actor now to play Lex Luthor than Gene Hackman played in the Superman movie.
Oh no,
That would be hard. I've yet to see one.
The cartoon was so
Okay.
superior to.
I liked him as Lex Luthor. I do not like him as a person.
Gene Hackman would even shave his head.
No, Gene I like Gene Hackman, but in my opinion, there was a better Lex Luthor than Gene Hackman, and I hate him as a person. God, do I hate him as a person.
I'll tell you.
Jeffrey Bezos?
No,
No.
Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey. Yeah,
I
he
like
played
him.
a great Lex.
No, I'm sorry. The best one would have probably been who's the guy doing on. Not that I've watched it, but I've seen him act. What is the guy that does it for Daredevil that plays the?
Vincent. Oh,
Yeah.
ooh, that's a good call. That's a damn good call. I could see that, but no double dipping no double dipping.
Yeah.
Why not?
Just fuck. No double dipping. Anyways,
You mean like the hell's his name? The guy who played Green Lantern.
I will put you in timeout like I put your son. No
Okay,
double
now-
dipping.
Hey,
Hold on,
Ryan Reynolds.
The
Hey,
Batman-
Ryan Reynolds plays himself, but the great thing about Ryan Reynolds is he will make fun of himself. He says, "Do you think Ryan Reynolds got jobs because of his acting ability? Let's get
No.
real." Under Daredevil, where he just rips into himself over and over again. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, let's
the guy
focus
who-
on this movie.
The
Otherwise,
guy who played Bruce Wayne in Batman Returns, Michael Keaton,
Yeah.
he wasn't my favorite Batman or Bruce Wayne. I mean, and my favorite Bruce Wayne was Val Kilmer.
Oh, I don't know if I can have you on the show much longer.
But no, the dude in the Batman Return or the Dark Knight Returns and stuff.
Oh, Christian Bale. Christian Bale.
yeah, Christian,
Did the best job as Batman and as Bruce Wayne together.
Christian Bale did the more believable Batman.
Yeah, George Clooney was the worst.
Yes. Thank you, Hongar. You
Yeah,
redeemed yourself.
have you guys seen the new Batman movie? Because I feel
Yeah.
like he played the worst Bruce.
no, I
No.
think
Not
he did
the
a
worst
good job.
Batman, but the worst Bruce.
No, he played.
Did a good job.
Okay, you have to understand about Batman. Bruce Wayne is no longer a person. He is a mound of pain and mental anguish.
Bruce Wayne is the alternate ego.
Yes.
The other
Yeah.
He doesn't really count as a person anymore. Can I get away with saying that? Yes, I can.
Yes.
Robert Pattinson's version of Batman was actually more accurate at what Bruce Wayne would be like in his late 20s. He would
Year one Batman.
Maybe.
I actually enjoyed the newer one, but it was very different tone than everything that.
My only problem with that one is there's far too much fucking Nirvana songs in it. Cut out the Nirvana, I would have enjoyed it more.
I mean, as far as Catwoman, no, I didn't like the one that they had.
Well, have they ever really got a good Catwoman?
What's that?
Halle Berry was horrible.
Yes.
I actually liked Anne Hathaway.
Yes.
to be honest.
And Hathaway, Michelle Pfeiffer is good at everything.
Oh, dude, you're killing me, man. You're killing me.
You come hang out with us
Like-
okay, you completely just redeemed yourself. You come hang out with us anytime you want.
I'm not saying she's a good Catwoman. I'm not saying that Michelle Pfeiffer is a good Catwoman. I'm saying that Michelle Pfeiffer is good in everything.
Okay, so Connell, here's the thing: you can't disconnect Hungar because he's in the hospital. It has so many things. I mean, that's so wrong.
Oh,
You
all right. I
pull the
just pulled the plug on Hungar. What?
No, you
No,
can't pull the plug on Hungar.
no.
Only families allowed to do that. No.
Well, he's my brother from another mother, but I don't have.
So anyway, sorry, I just had to bring that.
There's a couple people that the actors. Okay, we're forgetting one. We're forgetting the guy who played Alfred.
I actually liked him. I liked the way that they did him for Alfred.
He had
I've
enough.
not seen a bad Alfred.
I've not seen one either. But to me, the fact that he knew past the second one, the rest of these movies are going to be shit shows, and he fucking stuck it out.
Well, I mean, you're 80 years old. What else are you going to do?
Go home and retire.
Well, I'm going to say as much as I liked the part, when we're talking about it, when the Batmobile was somewhat destroyed, and he comes over and he says, which is the exact same thing you see in the Christian Bale or the Christopher Nolan one later, which was the when they talk about we can't just outsource the repair to someone, we have to keep secrecy, and I liked the fact that he was older, but he was very competent. That's the great thing about Alfred.
Like when he was at the keyboards. Have you ever seen someone that old, knowing what the hell they're doing on a computer? It just.
Alfred, I mean, the first couple of movies, all the movies, except for maybe Michael Caine and Jeremy Irons have kind of gotten Alfred wrong. Alfred is retired MI6. He is James Bond as a butler.
Yeah. Speaking of that real quick, because I'm getting ready to bounce because I got, a test coming up soon.
Pineapple
week.
All right.
Let's do best James Bond.
I don't know whose turn. The best James Bond. You know what? We won't do it next week, but we will give James Bond a month. We'll all pick out our favorite James Bond movie because there's a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
And we'll run with it.
All right. I'm going to guys.
Not who's the best James Bond. Who's the best James Bond?
Don't forget that link, Hungar.
Yeah. Sean Connery is the best James Bond.
All right, see you later.
No, we don't longer have to do it. You
Until he starts singing.
Okay.
I like Daniel Craig, but that's just me.
I like Daniel Craig stuff, and then the later stuff. It's just like actors need to learn when to shut up. That's the whole thing. If they shut up, you're there to read lines and emote. Okay, you need to shut up.
There's another guy that stuck around. The guy who played Commissioner Gordon stuck around for all the damn films. Alfred.
I really didn't like him. He was too bumbling. You know what I mean?
He was the '60s Batman. I
know.
I'm going to say this much: is I think that Tim Burton did a good job of updating Batman to the point that we could get a Christopher Nolan type Batman. Because without him doing this to make Batman this huge moneymaker, and to be fair, is when you start looking at Paul Verhoeven and all those others, they were about ready to kill Batman because everyone's like, no, we'll go to Michael Keaton, but anything after Michael Keaton's crap. For Batman, they really did it.
Wait, did Tim Burton make the Batman movie before this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tim Burton did the first one and the second. Tim Burton did the first one and second one, bounced after the third one because of Crater or whatever. The costume was a nightmare for all the Batmans, hands down.
Did he work on the third one?
No, I don't think he did.
He got to the table and the talk about was the next Batman one. Then the studio put their hand in the cookie pot trying to make it more whatever, and that's where he bounced.
Well, also, I think that Tim Burton doesn't like doing sequels anyway. This was like his one and only sequel.
Most likely because he could have done. Man, Nightmare Before Christmas is a whole different movie, but he could have ran off a couple sequels of that and made some money. So yeah, I might have to. I would probably agree with that one. Hey, Bo.
I will say though, this is the second most Tim Burton movie I have ever watched.
Oh, then you need to watch Beetlejuice.
Obviously, Tim Burton is Nightmare Before Christmas.
You also saw Edward Scissorhands.
I did see Edward Scissorhands. I have watched it, but it's just I don't know.
There's a short list. It's Edward Scissorhands, The Corpse Bride, Beetlejuice, and the Batman movies are the most Tim Burton movies.
I don't know. Edward Scissorhands would be up there too. I mean, there's a lot of
yeah.
The thing is that when Tim Burton makes a movie, you know it's Tim Burton movie just by
It's got its own aesthetic.
Within the first second, you know.
Yeah, even like he has a very specific kind of music that's in his movies, or at least most of his movies.
Oh,
it's always snowing. And
Danny Elfman is his music guy.
Okay.
I love Danny Elfman. He is a music guy. Danny Elfman is for movies is like one of the greats of that era, and he's still out there kicking ass. Hey, Bo, I got one spot open. Bo, you could jump in if you want to. Kai, I'm not going to say no to you either. The link is in the chat. We'd love to hear at least one of you guys' endpoint because you guys are here every week, so might as well have a say. That's the reason why Mark joined us, and I'm glad that Omenal joined us. If you got something to say, I want to hear it.
I'm going to bring this up is, let's be honest. The music, as soon as it plays, whenever anyone plays Lego Batman or anything, the music, the Danny Elfman from the Tim Burton movies, you know it's Batman whenever you play like Lego Batman or anything else. It's just that classic.
Yeah. No, Danny Elfman is amazing. I enjoy his music. I mean, that movie Wanted came out a couple years ago with Angelique Jolene and a bunch of other people. And the song Little Things is one of my all-time favorite songs. But back to the Batman, because this is really how we do things. We kind of jump back and forth. I don't recognize, there's a couple characters in this movie I just don't recognize from the comic books. I'm not saying that they weren't there, but sometimes they'll just spitball a character just for somebody new. Mm-hmm. I mean, Christopher Walken's hands down did his character amazing. I do not recognize his character. If they wanted to do another mogul millionaire, there was a bunch of them in Gotham throughout the comic books that were not great people. And I kind of wish they would have drawn from that list and just spitball new characters into the movie. I mean, there was a guy, Zeus, from Olympic Corporation, Olympic Inc. They could have used him. I mean, could you imagine Christopher Walken having the thought processing that he was a Greek god? He was Zeus himself in this movie. That would have been amazing.
I don't know if he could. You know what?
Yeah, he could. I don't think he could pull it off. He did what he did, and it was perfect. The only thing I was surprised with Christopher Walken was the hair. The hair was kind of a little woolly. You know what I mean? For Walken, yeah, it was just like a little, big. Reverend Jim. Like our earlier conversation, it was just like, really.
I'm going to bring something up because, if you're going to talk about little minor characters, how much did you enjoy the guy that had the monkey? And I still like the clown. He says, "Isn't that a kind of excessive?"
Oh, the guy. Hold on,
the clown that was shot.
Connolly. I know you have to know the guy who was driving the train that car. That circus train. That guy's like one of the world's most famous chefs.
Okay. I thought he's a character actor. I've seen him in a lot of.
He's a world-class chef. That's what he does when he's not in Hollywood.
Because I remember seeing him do his comedy where it's very deadpan and stuff.
No, you're thinking Stephen Wright.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I thought that was Stephen Wright. But okay.
No, the guy that had the monkey, Vincent, not pronouncing that last name, Schiavelli. I didn't recognize the guy. I have to rewatch it now that you say something, Shadow.
But he is. I saw a show with him on it, famous chef show or something, a long time ago. Because he's really kind of creepy looking. If you look at him carefully, he's kind of got to play character bits, which is fine. He managed to have a nice life.
I remember him from Ghost as the one that was.
Yeah, we're talking about the same guy.
Yeah. I'm looking at
Yeah.
it now. That was
Mhm.
I liked it, but you're right. He is a fan. He's written 3 cookbooks and stuff. I'm like, wow. But I liked him as a character actor, and I saw him do a lot of that stuff, and I really
he
enjoyed
passed
it.
away.
Yeah, he did.
So
I did not know that. I did not know he was a major chef.
Yep.
Well,
All right. So what else do we want to say about this movie?
Have you gone through what's your favorite? Like, do you think did the best character? Who do you think? Like,
We're
was
waiting for you.
we were kind of we're all right. We did the actors.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene?
Do me last, because
No.
I'm gonna. I know my. I
Can
don't
we
even know.
rephrase that, please? Can we just minorly rephrase that just a little bit?
okay. Do you know what my favorite scene is?
What?
Is during the masquerade ball, where the only 2 people that aren't wearing uniforms, of course, Selena.
Oh yeah, that's a good. That's a good catch there, Omen. Yeah, that's a good. They're
well, I
only
mean,
two that
I
wear
was
a
looking.
costume.
I was looking at that, but when the penguin comes up out of the ground with the explosion, number one is look at the stuntmen and what they had to do, and look at how far it looks like they were flung out. That was one, but I also love his whole thing with the giant. I mean, it just tells you just how far Tim Burton goes over with the giant duck coming up, and you can see the wing. And I mean, it was so over the top. And I'll be honest, I loved it. I loved everything so over the top, and that just was the one area.
That duck mobile.
Yes,
that's like something right out of Frank Miller, man. That's like that just screamed Frank Miller. Just like only he could have thought of something like that. But apparently, I don't think he worked 1 second on this movie. But
right.
Well, he was doing the comic at the time, wasn't he? In the late 80s.
Dark Knight Triumphant.
Or whatever what they do with Bane and the broken back for Batman. Wasn't that during the 80s?
No, that was later. That was much later.
That was early 90s, I think, when he got his.
I'm thinking the Robin era, the Batman era where Robin was a little girl.
Oh,
that was Dark Knight Returns.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, just the whole thing with the duck as he's coming out of the. I mean, to me, that was the iconic.
That was a good scene.
Everything that was it just amazed me, and you see on how far the people were thrown.
Right. Yeah.
I said that was the one thing that surprised me. Just looking at that one part was just from the stuntman aspect, but visually, I loved that whole thing. Anyway, that was probably my favorite scene for that.
What about you? What about you, Mark?
Probably favorite scene was towards the end when they're fighting in the penguin lair at the I guess it was an old zoo or whatever. But I do have one mention of a scene that kind of caught me in the synapses of my brain or whatever here, and I thought made me flash back to Omen when we watched Citizen Kane. Did you notice the fireplace when they were having
that gigantic fireplace?
It reminded me of Citizen Kane when they were in Bruce Wayne's house.
When Bruce and Selena were smooching on the couch. Yeah, that was a hell of a fireplace. Those logs were taller than we are.
Is it just me, or they use the same set for that all the time? I don't know.
Oh, no. It was way different. It was way different, but it was just as it was actually smaller. It was smaller, but it was massive.
Kane was like almost as big as my
garage.
No.
I mean, the only reason
I meant the interior of the for all the Batmen. It always seems like they have almost the same outline for the same room. And whatever version we have, it seems to be the same place. That's what I was just mentioning. I could be wrong, but it just seems.
There is I joke. There is a house here off Grandview Drive that I call Wayne Manor because it looks like the Batman house. I mean, I know it was built way before the movies came out, but if they. I haven't been inside because I don't know the people that own it, and it's just hey, can I check out your house? This is kind of weird, but it kind of has that Bruce Wayne mansion feel that I've always wanted to check out. Not Jack Shadow. What was your favorite scene?
Honestly, other than the scenes that have already been mentioned, one scene that really sticks in my head was when Bruce is at his computer and watching the Penguin, and he's just got this look, and he's just watching him. He's like, I'm gonna have to fight this guy. You know what I mean? Where it's just ticking in his head. You could just see it. He knows something's up. This is a freaking monster.
As he's going through the equivalent of the mimeograph machine or whatever, as he's looking through the old newspapers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just stuff that I've had to deal with personally in my life. But I could just see that thought process going. Even though there's nothing there, you can't see the gears. But that scene just struck me as like, yeah, that's Batman.
And then the other part at the end where he comes over, he's talking to Alfred and says, no, he knows who his parents are. He's doing something else there outside. Right.
I got technically two scenes I really enjoyed out of it. One of them, they're both kind of smart ass, but I enjoyed them for what they were. The first one was when Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Keaton, Christopher Walken are down at the very end of the fight. The Penguin's dead. He's being floating away. And Batman tears off his mask. And Christopher Walken's like, Bruce Wayne, you're Batman. And Michelle Pfeiffer is, of course he's Bruce Wayne, you idiot. I love that scene. I just was like, that was always kind of stuck out to me. And the other one is I've always had this conversation. Batman doesn't kill. Batman doesn't kill. Batman. All the other Ben Affleck did his movie and Batman. He there's a good chance he killed a few people. Batman doesn't kill. Let's go back to the Wayback Machine to Batman Returns. He's fighting down the street. He's dealing with all the clowns. One of the clowns has like 3-4 sticks of dynamite on attached to a bomb. He grabs hold of it, grabs hold of the clown's pants, shoves the sticks of dynamite down the ground, and pushes them away. So about 30 seconds, not 30 seconds, about 10 seconds later, you hear it, boom! Batman just killed.
Oh, yeah, well, Batman actually did kill prior to the comic code.
Right, I was just going to say that, Shadow, because he used to
I've got
have
a
revolver.
He used to carry a gun in a holster.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, but Batman
right, that was because of the comic code. Prior to the comic code, I've got some old Batman reprints in the greatest Batman stories ever told, going all the way back to like the earliest you could possibly imagine. And he would shoot people all the freaking time. It was the comic code that enforced the Batman doesn't kill. And that was in the 60s or 70s, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 60s.
Was it earlier?
It has to be earlier. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a bit earlier than that. 40s, maybe.
That they had the movie codes as well. Those all started coming out at the same time, I think. Let me see when the comic codes came out.
What were you going to say there, Jack?
54.
I was going to say, it sounds gay, therefore it's probably 60s.
It's 54 when it came out. Is what they said.
No, there was a comic book. It wasn't the original one. By God, it wasn't the original one. But I remember reading comic book as a reprint where this guy who's basically hung himself, and he's like he's attached to the Bat helicopter, and Batman says, "Well, he died, but it could have been worse." And it was like the old Batman. It was
when Bob Kane was actually drawing and writing Batman.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up something since you're doing that. All I can think of is anyone that's watched Firefly, where she talks about you want them to, they'll kill you, they'll rape you, and then they'll eat you, and preferably in that order.
If you're lucky, it'll be in that order.
Yeah, that was. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Let's see what else. Jack, have you come in?
Yeah, Jack's scene.
I still can't decide. I'm just going to say every single scene with Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Actually, I like the scene where he's control of the Batmobile and he's just ribbing on Batman hardcore. That is a great scene.
No!
That
and
was
the
funny.
inside where he's
he's like in that little grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was,
Again, Frank Miller, man, him riding on that supermarket, storefront quarter operated, kiddie ride of the Batmobile was freaking genius, over the top, crazy, silly, all rolled into one. Just and Danny DeVito did. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, sure. I know I'm short. Yeah, not a problem. I'll do it. You humiliate me a little more with this role. Yeah, I'll take your money.
That was actual raw fish that he ate in that scene. He didn't even think twice about it.
It was smoked trout. I looked it up.
Was it?
Yeah, they smoked the fish, so it looks raw, but it's,
oh my goodness. Good. That's good to know because
I literally was so grossed out by all of that. Everything about his portrayal of the Penguin was just so vile.
Yeah, could you imagine what his breath smelled like?
Well, but you know what I love?
Before or after? Before or after? I'm not thinking it's pleasant.
Wait a minute. Hey, you know what? I also love the whole thing where he was like, "At least my nose isn't spurting blood."
Oh,
He's
yeah.
Like, I don't get it. He fights the guy stuff. I mean, Danny DeVito played. I don't want to say this. Is he had, and we talk about this. I know we talked about all playing games. This is the kind of villain that's just so over the top and fun that if you don't even, and to be fair, he was a comedian. It's not like you're humiliating. He's a comedian. He makes you laugh. It's like, I got to watch what he's going to do next. It's just like, I want to wash myself after. I mean, he did such a great job. Oh, and anyone look at his clothes? Look at his clothes. I mean, he always wore the underwear.
He was literally wearing the 1920s or 30s long johns half of the time with a fancy coat over it.
And how dirty they were. I mean, if you look at it, you're just like, go wash that. Get some new ones. Mark's face there.
The problem I have, I'm going to be that guy to this show.
Sure.
I like Danny DeVito as a person. I like Danny DeVito as an actor. I enjoyed all of his films. But to me, he wasn't the Penguin.
I don't know.
Well, that is true.
To be fair, is
Penguin at first.
Penguin? 1960. No, I'll be honest. The Penguin's probably my favorite of all the villains.
Right.
My favorite Penguin one is actually the one that they have in, what is it, Arkham Asylum or Arkham City for the video game.
Oh yeah.
I'm not familiar with it.
The video games. The first two video games are excellent. Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. You feel like Batman. You fight like Batman. But I also love the whole thing of the. Where someone had smashed a piece of glass into his eye, but yeah.
Agreed, Kai. Agreed, 100%. He was a monster. He was literally a genetic monster compared to the upper crust, snobby sort of, Penguin I grew up with.
Right. That's the.
I think what did it for me was every time he was slobbering that black drool. What the hell? There's nothing in nature that does that.
Oh.
But with he's blue and everything else. Yeah. I mean, with the black blood or whatever the equivalent was. That said, well, and he had green blood or something like that with the.
No, he was literally. It was literally like his teeth were rotting before our eyes. It was just
gum disease.
Like he had never seen a toothbrush in 50 years.
Well, he probably hadn't seen a toothbrush in 50 years. What are you going to do?
I know.
No, but at the end he's bleeding, and if you look at it, it's not red. It's that greenish black.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I'm not bashing Dan DeVito for the character that he did for this movie. He falls.
He got paid a wheelbarrow full of money. Probably on top of the money was a freaking monocle. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So
yeah.
Well, we forgot to give you the monocle. I mean, because or the cigarette holder, which would have been just.
What kills me? Oh, he did interviews a little bit later on, like within the last 10 years. He did an interview where he was talking about it was one of the Batman anniversaries, And he was talking about his time playing the Penguin. He's like, absolutely love playing the Penguin. The only thing that scared me about playing the Penguin was dealing with the damn penguins. And the interviewer was like, why? He's like, well, I was in my penguin outfit, which, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm a big guy, but I'm not that big of a guy. So there was a lot of cushion wrapped around me. And one of the little using his words, sorry, Bo, one of the little bastards came up and bit me in the crotch zone.
Oh, that was the monkey. The monkey did that when he was going to hand him the thing.
Was it the monkey? I thought he said penguin.
Well, he may have said the penguin, but I was reading the. You
might be right. I might be off on this one.
And he said the hardest scene was with the stupid little monkey, and the monkey didn't like him in the uniform and bit him in the crotch. And after that, they gave him a metal cod piece every time he interacted with the monkey after that, just to protect him. But
wow, damn! Imagine having to go home to Reba Perlman and explain that.
I always looked at the Penguin as not high class, but what's the phrase? Is the how do I want to put this? Is very similar to the person that wants to be high class. You know, that like the low level thug. That
nouveau rich.
What's that?
Nouveau rich.
Yeah. Where you know they don't have any of the class or anything, but they pretend to, and then
the Cobblepots were classy. They did have the wink out of the gate, but the Cobblepots were high class.
They were like a rival fan. It like all these stories, they keep evolving and changing in the comics over time. But I think the Cobblepots, at one point in the comic history or storyline, were a family like rival in wealth as
they're
Waynes
like,
were at one time. But
like the Waynes, they were old. They were old family,
old money, old. Yeah.
I still can't get over that. That was Paul Rubens playing the dad. Who was the mom?
I don't remember, but I know the mom.
She had a sort of a Sandra Bernhardt thing going on there.
I think the mom was actually the lady. I could be wrong, and I probably am, because she played the mom in Gotham. So I'm wondering if they double dipped again. The one who played the Ghost of Christmas Present, played the mom in the Gotham, the TV series. I don't know if she played the mom.
Not Carol Kane.
No. You know, he's talking about he's talking about in the TV series, which is
I didn't see that.
In the TV series, she was the mom in the TV series. I don't think she was in the movie though.
Let me see in who they say it is, but yeah, I agree with the. But that was interesting. I mean, I know but to be fair, Tim Burton always does this thing with throwing him over. I did think that was, when the cat comes by and he's drug into the thing. And,
where he ate the cat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the depiction of the Penguin in this movie. I just like the fact that he's played by Danny DeVito.
I get that.
Penguin's mother. Diane.
This was
as Kai said, the Penguin isn't supposed to be, and Bo as well. He's not supposed to be a friggin' genetic abomination.
I mean, he did look.
I always pictured him as
look penguin-ish. I will give him that.
But it's mostly what he's wearing.
Right, and he's barrel-chested and he has a long, pointy nose.
Yeah, I imagined it as like the Penguin was just how like they give nicknames to people in the. Like how you have on El Chapo, that sort of thing. That's what I always imagined that it was meant to be.
Oh, the freaking hands dried me up the damn wall. The Penguin's hands, where he didn't have hands, he had
flippers.
Yeah. I just there's a reason why I don't like Tim Burton films, especially when it comes.
You know what I found kind of unsettling as well is how. The people that worked for him, all the clowns, sort of a ripoff of the Joker motif, because he wouldn't have had that kind of, if anything, he would have had the black and white striped shirts, with the bandit masks for henchmen versus the circus.
Yeah,
I didn't understand that and why these people would work for this monster. I mean, out of nowhere.
He was part of the circus. That's the thing that.
Okay.
I think you're supposed to get the idea that like he has, even though he looks the way he does, he's able to spin everything. He's very charismatic despite his looks and deformity. That's why he was even going into political office, and they were using that whole angle, and he had the charisma to go along with it. You know, with
thinking he actually had a chance with Catwoman, kind of thing.
Well, parents, Oswald. What was it?
Oswald's Cobblepot, but it was Dan Salinger was playing his mother. But
Tucker and Oswald Cobblepot, Oswald, wealthy elite parents. So yeah, he was. If he didn't get,
but he was abandoned at a year old. I mean, so that was the thing is.
Yeah.
But you know what though, and everyone's like, well, it has to be. Well, look, it still feels a comic book movie, and
oh yeah, I'll give you that.
To be fair, is without the Tim Burton movies, we would have probably never had the Batman movies that we had after.
So that's not necessarily a bad thing.
The 90s were really bad for Batman movies. I mean, I'm not arguing about that.
Yeah, the 90s were garbage.
Yeah.
How do you did we get everybody? I had a idea or something. Did we get everybody on the last point, or do we guys?
Yeah. Do you have a question? Go for it.
I know kind of like you're talking about more of the everything now is kind of. Lately, it's been the more dark and dirty, grim, nitty gritty type. This one kind of bridged, almost like Adam West Batman, kind of got in a dark grittiness, but still had a bit of comic book feel to it. Now we've kind of gone the extreme where it's like super dark, realistic, nihilistic view on all that. The only one I seen lately that, as far as superhero movies, that wasn't that way and kind of still pulled it off, and I thought they did it well. That was a DC movie. Was Shazam?
Shazam did a good job, and so did Deadpool. I think Deadpool.
Yeah, the Tim Burton movies definitely hung on to the campiness in a way of the Adam West era. While still, like you said, bridging the gap toward the future.
Kind of going in like a little dark comedy edge to it, maybe. I guess.
Get why it had to be.
You should expect from a Burton film, or at least from you get Tim Burton to make a Batman movie. That's that's exactly what you should be wanting if that's the guy you're looking for.
Well, I mean, Tim Burton. I mean, the whole thing. If you look at it, it was, and you were too young, and I don't know if Connor remembers. The movie before this that Tim Burton did, which was what, Batman?
He did Beetlejuice, and he did Batman, then he did Batman.
But
Returns.
But the 1989 Batman, there were so many people screaming about everything that was going on, and there was such hype. To be fair, when I was a kid, there was such hype that I could not sit and enjoy it as much as I enjoyed this one because I was completely cut off from the rest of the world. I didn't have TV. I didn't get into them. I went to the movies every weekend, and it just so happened, and I'll be honest, because I didn't get all this pressure from all the media marketing at the time in 1992, I could sit back and enjoy it. Or 91. I sat back and really enjoyed this film. It amazes me going back and watching this is all the double entendres that they bring out. Holy crap, I didn't realize just how sexually suggestive everything was at the time.
Yeah, I have to admit that when I went to see the first Batman movie, I remember it, and I remember going into thinking, this is going to suck.
Yes.
And I walked out of it thinking, wow, was I wrong? It didn't suck. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Nicholson's portrayal of the Joker, but Michael Keaton just absolutely blew me away.
Michael Keaton and the guy who played Alfred drove the movie home.
Yep.
And I mean, we'll do a Batman. I'm thinking maybe here in a couple months we'll do a comic book month where we all pick one out.
No, we did. No, never mind.
We already did the Watchmen, so I'm screwed.
I'm going to say this much because everyone's trying to do everything perfectly from the comics. I wasn't really big into the comics for a lot of this. I will say as much as I thoroughly enjoyed the film, whether it's true to the thing or not, and I don't expect Hollywood to do anything true to the film. And the only film that I was and even though it's not 100% true, was Lord of the Rings sitting back and going, how are they going to screw this up? How are they going to screw this up? And I could enjoy it the first time I watched it. I had to watch those movies twice in the theater, and then only the second time could I relax because I was like, oh, they didn't screw it up. That's the way I felt is. But
I mean, between actually just getting done reading the books and watching the movies again, I for the simplicity of getting it over and done, I prefer the movies. But the actual stories, I prefer the books. But that's just me when it comes to this one. The recent Batman, I want to bounce back to Batman. We're about to back, yeah. The Batman movie that just came out with Robert Pattinson, Andrew Serkis, or whatever his name is. The guy who played the Joker in that one did Joker correctly, in my opinion.
No, it was a Riddler.
He was the Riddler in the Pattinson.
No, the Joker was in the night. It had the Joker, it had the Riddler, and it had
the Joker was only like a 30-second thing.
Not the Joker. Yeah. The Penguin and the Riddler were both in this recent movie.
Yes.
The Joker was like 5 seconds, but the Penguin was done by Colin Farrell, who in my opinion, did a really good job as the Joker.
I would have never
Penguin. Jesus,
I think
never recognized
Penguin in the new movie is the perfect Penguin for what this movie wanted. Like, it wanted a realistic take on things, or semi-realistic take on things, and that's what the Penguin would be. The same thing what the Riddler would and should be. Because the Riddler should just be like, oh, riddle me this, Batman. Like, no, it shouldn't be that. It's the Riddler should actually have, because the point of the Riddler and really all Batman villains is to, like, obviously all villains are meant to be a foil to the hero, but typically it's like a direct opposite of what Batman is in some way. Like, the Joker is an anarchic bastard, whilst Batman spreads law or tries. You have Penguin, who is like super rich, but he uses all of his money to spread crime, and he's typically meant to be a mob boss for a reason, whilst obviously Batman does the opposite. And the Riddler is meant to be a counter to Batman's intelligence. If Batman is the world's greatest detective, the Riddler is spreading all these mysteries, and there needs to be something for Batman to solve, not just 100 riddles to like top 5 riddles that will make your brain go on from 5-minute credits.
Isn't the Riddler almost like isn't the Riddler? Yeah, very good analysis there. Isn't a Riddler? Wouldn't you? I don't know if we're going off in the weeds here, but when I think of the Riddler, the problem is with these comics, like even within the comics, the stories and the backstories and the mythology evolves and changes so much. When I see the Riddler, and I never was 100 huge gun-ho Batman reader myself in the comics, but he was like a true neutral. If I was going to assess him the RPGs, he was, from what I remember, Riddler was always like kind of like a true neutral. He was just like a foible always to Batman, or like a Moriarty like.
Yeah,
analogy to
Batman. Jackie got it right though.
Yeah.
The Riddler, Batman's the world's greatest detective,
right?
Which is someone who uncovers a mystery. And the Riddler is the greatest mystery maker, or
right, exactly,
creator.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You're right. Yep.
No, I
mean, in the comic book series later on, the Riddler actually stops being a criminal and gets a PI license just to prove that he can be a better detective than Batman.
But I mean, for this, to be fair on this one, is I'm going to ask a simple question. Who here did not enjoy the movie to watch it?
There were some things which I absolutely hated, but it was all worth it. Overall,
did you enjoy
I don't know. It's hard to say overall because, overall I liked it, but that's only because the scenes which were good far outweighed the scenes that were bad. And by that, I mean Danny DeVito was in the movie, which makes
All right. I have to admit, Jackie will attest to this. I went into watching this movie not wanting to watch the movie. I'm like, you guys can't even imagine how much I despise the woman who played Catwoman. Everything about her, period, especially if you look into things. But putting that aside, because I wanted to be fair, because that's one thing I am is fair, even if I am a bastard. I really was able to look at this movie a lot differently than I did the first time I watched it, and I was really bummed at the end that I knew Michael Keaton wasn't going to be in another Batman movie playing Batman, because he really just made it all, so much better than I had remembered from back in the day. It was just like, this is pretty damn good for, all things considered. It's a Tim Burton take on Batman. It's not,
Right,
remotely,
yeah, it is.
it's not canon. It's a totally
Tim
different
Burton take. Yeah, exactly. You nailed
And
it.
there's so many. If you follow comic books, there are literally, probably 20 to 50 different alternate universe, Gotham by Gaslight and things
I
like
love
that. Batman, it's one of the ones in my collection. All the different takes on Batman. Batman meets Predator or Batman. All these weird, Batman things. This was way up there in the top of, top 10 of the different takes on Batman. The only one I think I like more than this, my favorite Batman of all time is either Killing Joke or Dark Knight Returns, and because those are so vastly different than the regular Batman. The Killing Joke isn't, but it's, man, that was dark.
That is a rough comment.
That was a rough one. Yeah.
That's a rough.
Have you seen the animated?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that.
Wow, they really went there. I'm like, holy crap. The Joker did what he did to Barbara Gordon. Holy crap.
Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, too.
Yeah. Let's be fair. It wasn't crap that what you said. It most likely be holy shit. Because, yeah. No.
Did you enjoy this movie?
Me?
No, Mark. I guess you'll
Mark,
get over it.
yeah.
What's that?
Did you enjoy this movie, Mark?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I just like I said, it was my Chris. I just thought I didn't even put two and two together when I first saw it, but when I was scrolling through the computer and saw the list that it had a Christmas theme in the background to it, I said, yeah, let's go for it. Why not? And, I liked it, and it brought back some good memories. And yeah, it was Tim Burton take on Batman, and I thought it was good and good product of its time, and I think it's still enjoyable today. And I appreciate the effects, and if he's gonna he's gonna go for it, he goes all in, with the scenery, the background, the over the top, duckmobile for the penguin and everything. Just
That was
the super long front end Batmobile, all that real estate in the front of the car. It's just crazy, but and the jet engine on the back. Yeah.
That reminded me of one of the other only things I didn't like about the movie was how easily they took over the Batmobile. That to me was just absolute complete. Okay, I got to suspend my disbelief, knowing what's going to happen. There's just no freaking way. I mean, the Batmobile was more high tech than the freaking space shuttle. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yet this sewer dweller has connections with the circus, and they figured out a way. You know what I mean? I just that's right. This is going to happen.
Well, you know what, though? The suspension of disbelief, once you get past it, it's just a fun movie to watch. And
even the goofiness of the Batmobile shredding parts, sloughing off parts so we can make it through. Really? You thought of that? You thought of freaking that? Come on.
Oh,
you couldn't have just made it just jump or fly Mach 5 kind of thing? Instead,
what was the Batmobile hydrofoil thing that fit perfectly in that when he was
he did the homework in measuring the sewers, That was more believable than the Batmobile doing this thing and squishing up. I actually have somewhere in my collection some Batmobile toys from that era, and including the different vehicles, and one of them is the wiener dog version of the Batmobile, and I'm just
Okay.
like, what the hell? But
This
yeah,
movie-
other than that, you got to
Other-
watch this movie once in your life.
Other than the 1990s Batman animated series, which will always have a big part because it was just Batman. It wasn't Batman and Superman. It wasn't crazy
No,
power
great
Batman.
series.
It was
Great
just
series.
great, solid Batman. These two movies, the first one and the second one, is the introductory to, in my opinion, the introductory if you're bringing a kid, a young boy or young girl, to the comic book who's interested in Batman. These are the Batmans because they're not too violent. They're by no means they're as violent as the other ones got to be.
Mm-hmm. Or even the first one. The first one,
yeah,
was
yeah. This one was a very good, safe Batman movie to show your kids. When they get older, maybe you go to Christian Bale, high school Christian Bale. Would I sit down and watch this movie again? Yes, I'd watch this movie maybe once every couple years, just because it's a good movie. And it hits that nausea button for me. I remember seeing this in a hot ass movie theater down in Florida. Instead of having normal chairs, they had fold up chairs. And there's a whole memory that goes with this movie. But I mean, my favorite Batman as of right now is I got two. The one, may he rest in peace. Kevin, he just passed away. The dichotomy between Bruce Wayne and Batman has always been a struggle in these movies, at least on my opinion. Christian Bale's not so much because he didn't even want to be Bruce Wayne. He just wanted to be Batman full time. That was his point of view. That was that character's point of view. But I really like, for an older Batman, I really like Ben Affleck. I really enjoyed, because even when the few scenes where he was dealt to be Alfred, let's say in Superman versus Batman, when he had to be Batman. I don't know, Bruce Wayne. I'm getting tired. Bruce Wayne. And he was at that dinner party at Lex's, and Superman came up. It's like, don't you ... And his response is, it might just be the Gotham in me, but we're just really sick of clowns. And he's talking about Superman. He's an angry Batman, and I like angry Batmans. I don't like these emo Batmans. I like the angry Batmans.
That goes against the way Bob Kane wrote him.
Bob Kane did not have a degree, and nor do I, in mental health and how that kid would turn out. Unlike some of the new writers who are actually taking time and talking to therapists and doctors on what that kid would turn out to be.
But that's now. Back when Bob Kane wrote Batman, there's no way you could tell me that he wouldn't hang on to the Bruce Wayne persona to some extent, with the money, the privilege, and the ability to continue being Batman that all that entailed.
I'm going to say
without Bruce Wayne, he wouldn't have been able to do it. He'd have been on the run. He would have never made it.
Well, Christopher Nolan's, I think, did an excellent job.
I haven't seen that one.
Well, the Christopher Nolan's one's the one that's Batman Begins or whatever in the 2000s.
It's the one with Christian Bale and Liam Neeson for the first.
Was it trying to be? Oh, okay. Was it trying to be Batman Year One?
Yeah.
Are any of you familiar with that?
Yeah, it was. But I mean, the reason I liked that is the whole point where Alfred's telling him, you have to pick up a sport. You have to act like you're irresponsible. You have to do this. And I thought that was a good job. That was the other thing I think that Michael Keaton did very well as well, is you don't expect him to be Batman because he's unassuming. He's relatively...
And you know where that comes from, right?
Which part?
that whole thought process of you have to be the billionaire playboy comes from nothing other than Zorro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the movie that came out from watching to pay homage of that is what Batman is. Batman is our present day version of Zorro.
See, this is why I like the Watchmen's universe, because one of the heroes stopped the shooter, the mugger, and Bruce Wayne and his family were able to go home from the theater in one piece.
Yep. But that's why the story of Zorro and the 1920s or 30s novel The Bat, which I also own, is what was in Bob Kane's head when he was making Batman, and that, to me, it's very important to not butcher somebody's original work and try to make it your own when it in fact is not your own. You just happen to be part of a big company that managed to acquire it and now wish to do something different. That shows no love for the original things that make Batman what Batman is.
Well, yeah, but when
that
Batman
includes
started,
Zorro.
They weren't writing Batman after he's been doing it for 50 years, however many. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but they weren't writing Batman far, far into his career. Obviously, they weren't. It
was the early beginning.
Batman Beyond, way into his career.
Oh, Beyond. Well, even in Batman Beyond, that circles back to the Ben Affleck Batman. He got grumpy as tar.
Well, I'll be honest.
And that pays homage to the Frank Miller version of Batman from the Dark Knight Returns, because in that you see Bruce Wayne with gray hair because he had been retired for 10 years. There's
a line where Ben Affleck Batman that was sitting there talking to Alfred, and he's like, "Don't forget, we're still outlaws. We've always been outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, this." Alfred's like, "Well, you need to take the higher, be the hero," and he's like, "We've been bad guys. We've been outlaws since the very beginning. Only we try to help where we can."
Here's the problem that I have with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne being angry, is it would be too easy to say that's the kind of person that could be Batman. Whereas Michael Keaton, because of his personality, even though he has more of a backbone, you kind of get the feeling that it was the same thing what they did with Christopher Nolan, was you went, this guy's not irresponsible. This guy doesn't have the backbone for it. It was the whole dichotomy of it.
We're also talking down the road. These Batmans did not have Robins. These Batmans did not go through. This is 25 years down the road, how many years, all the bumps, the breaks, and the sacrificing yourself and the kids that you're supposed to be raising for the job, for the war.
Well, the whole thing again comes down to the angry Ben Affleck Batman. I'm sorry, because the point is that you wouldn't suspect them to be Batman. And
right. Yeah, I mean, what you're really wanting is another Punisher movie done right, Connell. The Batman got to be Diego from Bruce Wayne has got to be Diego from Zorro. That was what it was written to emulate, to copy, and to pay homage to, was Zorro. That's how Zorro was.
It's not the mindless killing machine of the Punisher. I like movies or heroes that show down the road you're signing up for. You're signing up a bill, and you don't know what that receipt is going to look like at the end of the day. We don't know. I mean, if you go to other comic books, Iron Man becomes a raging alcoholic. Ant-Man gets so Ant-Man gets so frustrated with the world around him, he starts beating his wife.
I'm going to bring something else, though, is, as much
Daredevil
as
becomes a field popper.
Is you still want to keep the core character. I mean, it's fine to update stuff. I understand doing certain things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even the Dark Knight Returns, Batman, changes his ways to some extent. He does start shooting freaking mutants.
Batman needs a Robin. Batman needs a counterpoint.
No. I mean, that's like having Rick and Morty. That's a little bit different.
It's Batman needs his Robin. It's been stated in the comic books. Anytime Batman goes without Robin for so long, he gets more and more. He stops pulling his punches.
Well, part of that is, and I don't know. When you start talking about comic books, for whatever reason, they thought they had to throw in a sidekick with every comic book, and in many ways, that was from the comic code.
That might be the original. That might be the beginning of it, but what it turned into later on.
Yeah, it was perfect. It made perfect sense throughout, all the eras I'm familiar with, where Robin was that one thing that Batman had to protect, and therefore he had to be careful with his own life because he was responsible for Dick Grayson or whoever. Without that, he would literally become more like the Punisher and not care if he lived or died, as long as he got that one last criminal brought to justice, whatever form that may take. He had to have that weight, that sidekick to make him remember that it's not all about what I want.
But that was Alfred. Alfred was that point for a Batman. Alfred was the one that would say, "Look, you're going too far." That's everyone wants to look at, and yes, when Alfred passed away, then of course it would be. Then you'd have the younger, but that was the whole point of having Alfred, and he does that in almost all the movies. Hey, you have to be careful. It was the voice of reason rather than I'm just an enabler.
Except for two shit movies. I mean, I'm not blaming the guy who played Robin. I'm blaming the movies and the guy who played. I blame Val Kilmer and I blame George Clooney because they both had Robins in their movies. I don't play. Christopher O'Donnell.
Rusted Metal.
I'm not blaming the guy who played Robin because he did the best way he could, until they brought him back.
Thank God they gave him the costume they did, right, folks?
Right.
I'm that's Paul Verhoeven, who I just hate for a lot of this crap, and who was the other one that did it?
Bat nipples. Yeah, bat nipples. What the actual hell?
Well, Paul Verhoeven. I'll be honest, I felt as much as people may love it, I hated Starship Troopers. I mean, I liked some of the ideas for it, but it's like, well, I'm just going to do this as a comedy. Like, look, that just because something works for RoboCop.
The movie or the book?
No, we're talking about the movie here. Paul Verhoeven's the director.
Oh, okay.
And the that's the thing that I just despised about Paul Verhoeven going. I mean, Tim Burton's just known for going over the top. If you give something to Tim Burton's going to make it his own. He's going to go off in the direction. We all know this, and I can forgive that. But at the end of the day, I still feel like he at least kept the core concept of Batman, and he did make sure that Batman was not this silly 1960s as much. I mean, Batman's the only straight character in the entire movie. I mean, he doesn't do the one-liners. He doesn't do all the other stuff. It's not the campiness. Batman is not campy. Everyone else around him is campy, but Batman is not. And that's,
over 80% of his rogue gallery all have doctorate degrees, which is also kind of like, wow.
Well, you know what? I would have believed that it was completely campy, but after seeing what's coming out of university campuses with doctorates nowadays, maybe he was onto something.
There was a comic book I read years ago. Maybe not years ago. There was a comic book I read a while ago where Batman was actually a patient in asylum in Arkham, and all the doctors were, either other patients or doctors that and he was just losing his parents just broke his mind.
All right, Connell, I gotta go anyway. If I come back in half an hour or so, I'll try. If you guys are still going on this, I'll join back in anyway. Have all a good night and
take care, Omen.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, what Omen? I know you can hear this. I just got one word for you, man. Pugmire.
I know Shadow's answering this one. But is there any characters that you wish that weren't in this film?
Oh, okay. You know my answer, and it's not that. You should have worded it differently.
Actors?
Yeah, actresses. Let's be honest.
Is there
Yeah.
anybody that felt that the movie just did not need? How about that? I'll start with you, Mark.
I felt it. I don't think that I'd take anybody out on. I mean, I think when this movie was put out, it was it was played off. The bat, the cat, the penguin is playing like the trinity of three animals or whatever from the promos and everything I remember about it. And I don't know much about Michelle Pfeiffer and her politics, and that. I can imagine what it's like in that. But
Yeah.
whatever you want to say about her or not, I mean, from this movie on, that's been that look of Catwoman's been like the most recognizable and iconic. And her portrayal I thought was pretty good. But I mean, like, I don't know her as a person. I probably like I think that's with a lot of Hollywood people and stuff. They think their mind is.
To be honest, Mark, my main beef isn't necessarily Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay.
Her as a person. It's the fact that Selena Kyle was a Latina.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And
This
to be
was
honest,
also the 90s. You weren't going to cast anybody other than a white woman to play that role with a love interest.
I don't know what year did Fools Rush In with Selma Hayek and
that was early 2000s.
Oh, okay. Still, I think. I mean, they had Eartha Kitt play Catwoman.
Yeah, and they took her off fairly quickly for the same reason.
I wonder, did Batman and Eartha Kitt share a kiss?
So
I do not think so.
In 97.
So they weren't like the whole like
the love triangle, the love.
Okay. That suddenly disappeared. But with Julie Newmar and the other woman, that was all over. That was not even implied. That was full on. She was all over it. Okay. And
wait. When did Batman the Batman you're talking about, the 60s came out, right?
Right. 1967.
Okay.
66.
The whole world basically turned on its ear when Kurt kissed
Uhura.
Almost same generation of TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I totally get that. But for this movie, and considering how it was written back in the 40s or the 50s, Selena Kyle was, I believe, a Puerto Rican girl.
Yeah,
and
you're right. Yeah.
Why not stick to that?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you from a.
You're right. You're right. That's the way it may have been, but that
doesn't mean it's right. By no means am I saying it's right.
To me, it would have been just a lot more interesting had they done it right. And then getting Halle Berry to play her was a step in almost the right direction, but not really.
Kenny, God, he's a musician. Not Kenny Longing, Kenny Travis. Kenny Travis. He married the one of the Cosby daughters from the show.
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny, there we go. It's been a week. His daughter played the new Catwoman in the Batman movie.
Yeah.
And I know it's not Latino, but
yeah, I really like her.
Whitewashing the character again.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those details that to me would have made it a little better.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But other than that, the movie was, just because the whole way she played the alter ego of Catwoman from like year one, and even the famous Catwoman comic book when she got her very own comic book. What was Catwoman's profession? Does anybody know?
She was a professional burglar, right? Wasn't she?
Just this far away. Just this far away of being a streetwalker. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, she was a streetwalker.
Maybe in the Catwoman 1, but then she became the cat burglar.
She got tired of the BS.
Right.
He decided to
My
become
memory's a little foggy on it. I only read it once, but yeah, she was. That's why she had, as you said, with the iconic look of her costume. She got that from the preferences of some of her customers. If you know what I'm saying.
Well, we got it. At least
Yes.
So Mark,
We do.
I can't tell because Mark's frozen.
I'm here.
He's not frozen.
I don't
that's-
think. I mean, yes, I would have.
So that I know they couldn't have done that in the 90s. I totally get that.
Okay.
But what they're saying is that this mousy woman, assistant for Shrek had
all those
that in her
abilities,
wardrobe.
yeah. Okay.
And that in her wardrobe to where she could, go from being who she really was the mousy assistant, just snapping and becoming.
She snapped because she fell from like a 50-story building.
Okay, thanks, Bo. So right, and I get that, but it just didn't. I just didn't see the connection.
She died. She got brought, from my point of view, from watching the movie, she died. And some kind of supernatural cat hokey pokey went on.
I got all that too.
And she became Catwoman, which, I mean, cats are just kind of, by personality of being a cat, that kind of way. I mean, I've owned a couple cats throughout my life, and
Slutty? Is that what you're trying to say?
What?
Slutty? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And she was, completely not like that at all. She was, she had a relatively, some sort of relationship at the beginning of the movie with some guy.
And
whatever.
Michelle Pfeiffer was a great casting for this movie. She played off of Michael Keaton's very well.
It's just,
I know
that's not at all what I picture when I picture Catwoman. I've never
fine.
once thought of it.
But there's, even Jack will, someone agree with me. There is certain things you have to do to get your movie made. You get lists of actresses and actors. The actors and said actresses, if they have any kind of love interest, have to have some kind of chemistry. They could have brought in Salma, what's her name, Hayek.
Salma Hayek.
Yeah, and if
that would have been epic. I mean, think about it.
Whoa, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but if she did not have any kind of chemistry that transfers over to film, it would have been a dud.
To be honest, Connell, what I understand from my time in that area, right. Michelle Pfeiffer came to them and was willing to do whatever it took, and I mean whatever, to get the part.
That makes sense too, because the first one was, a blockbuster hit. The second one, with Michael Keaton's a legend in his own way in Hollywood. It makes sense. 1 + 1 = 2 makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying
she literally had done tons of stuff, and before, during, and after, she didn't need that part to be any more famous. If anything, I think it actually damaged her career, if you think about it.
She became one of the industry's most bankable stars during the 80s and 90s, and was considered a sex symbol during the 90s. Catwoman, sex symbol?
Cringe.
Well, she got that. She was in that. Did she get an award or nominated for award when she was that played that inner city school teacher?
Oh, Dangerous Mind?
Yeah.
God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, that to me, that was her best work.
95.
That was.
The movie budget was $23 million. It made $179.5 million. It was a really well done. That movie did well.
So, So Shadow, I guess we get back to what character do you think this movie could have done without, or you think all were integral to
actor?
the whole movie?
I honestly can't think of one. I can't think of a character. You know,
The character,
in
no,
it,
but actor, I can think of a few.
honestly, I can't think of anyone. Hold on.
The movie would not work with just Danny DeVito alone. There, Jack. I know what you're thinking.
The other father and son, that was kind of almost
Christopher
unnecessary.
Walken's and his kiddo.
Was that his kid?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was his kid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no. Then I don't even think that's the case either. That works. Who was the other guy though? There was another actor in the movie, in the big company that I guess the Shrek Corporation or whatever. There was an actor who was there, but a tall blonde guy, like number 2 in that company or something. He just seemed to be like kind of not necessary, but that he was there so little that I don't think it really mattered.
Okay.
So no, I really don't think they the tiny little mistakes they made along the way cannot even compare to the successes that they had with this one.
All right. Mark, who did you say, or did you really say anybody?
You said no one.
I didn't. I said everybody was kind of pretty integral.
All right,
it,
that's what I
but-
thought. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
Yeah.
Characters?
Yeah.
Well, characters, I would say that the Shrek family, I didn't really see them as being very necessary, other than maybe at the end with Penguin's stupid villain plot, which made absolutely no sense, but whatever.
Still all the
The firstborn sons, yeah, that was just psychosis.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that maybe like he was writing down all the names. There was some like cool real reason for it. And it's like I want to take all the firstborn sons. It's like, oh great, it's more of this stuff.
You know what though? You know what? It just dawned on me. I think that was him sort of like playing God.
Yeah.
You know?
think
I was always saying there was something biblical about that.
there was a lot of biblical. So like when Omen mentioned, the whole Moses.
Exactly.
thing.
He felt like
he's playing into the Bible stories throughout this whole movie. So yeah, he's playing when
and then
they
Christmas.
when they mark the with the blood on
The lamb
Commandments,
blood.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? For the firstborn sons.
Oh God, does that make?
And Pharaoh loses his firstborn son. So
I mean,
yeah, he's playing on biblical stories.
By that argument, that makes Penguin Moses and Batman the evil Pharaoh.
That sounds about right. Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito's the hero. Yeah, we know, Jack.
Yeah.
Penguin's the hero.
Yeah.
We got it all
well,
wrong.
not so much Penguin, just Danny DeVito.
Yeah, the
Just-
Penguin.
yeah, right. Danny DeVito, not Penguin. Danny DeVito is
Yeah.
the
I
hero.
gotta know, Jack. Do you like the TV show Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Never seen it.
Really?
You've seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah.
How have you seen it and I haven't?
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. I would have ditched the son. Christopher Walken's character, because all he was is Mr. Moneybags, really throughout most of the movie. After he had his moment, he was Catwoman's big bad. He was no one really else's.
I think that's why he had to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Batman stories with Catwoman, it's like, oh, you have Catwoman, and then there's big rich guy who she doesn't like, and she wants to kill rich guy, but then Batman's like, no, it's not the way, and then he dies anyways.
Well,
It's like that's
Catwoman-
that's every single story I've ever seen with Catwoman. It's Catwoman has history with rich guy. She wants rich guy dead. She almost kills rich guy, but Batman says you can't kill him, and then somehow he dies either way. Probably not for Catwoman.
Catwoman is one of the big gangster's daughter that he just basically abandoned. Yeah.
Yeah, in the new movie, it's
Oh yeah, in the new
dad
movie,
that
yeah,
she wants
right.
to- I think
The
her dad
That's
maybe
what
her
it-
Marconi
prisoner,
or
she
yeah,
wants to kill him.
Yeah.
And then she's
It's-
like, "No, you can't kill him." And then the Riddler shoots him anyways.
Well, there was a bunch of superstition. There's a bunch of weird supernatural stuff in it. It's like, well, I already, she keeps dying and coming back, and she's like on her like 7th life. So, and when she gives Walkins the kiss of death, and she says, maybe I'll use my last one, move down to the tropics or some variation. I'm like, what the actual hell?
Yeah, kind of.
Watching again, I watched the first one before I watched this one. To me, that's just in my head. That's just how you do it. You watch the first one before you watch the sequel. And as much as I'm not a big fan of, Tim Burton drives me up the damn wall when it comes to comic book movies and the conversation of him in comic books.
Okay.
Kim Basinger was in the
Okay.
first one. She's technically in the credits for the second one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because she was mentioned.
Yeah, sure. Her name was mentioned one time. I remember that.
Does
Yeah.
it make sense though?
I just wish they would have these movies have a little bit more continuity than the butler that didn't leave.
Yeah.
Or if Barbara Gordon, the daughter of Commissioner Jim Gordon, would have took up after as commissioner, I would have been able to deal with that. But having that guy be the commissioner in all of the bad ones and the two ones and the other ones, he drove me up the wall. I'm like, find somebody better. I mean, just please find somebody better. I mean,
Yeah.
even flaws.
I actually did like Commissioner Gordon in the new movie, even though he was black, but mostly because I couldn't tell he was black because of how dark the movie was. But I did actually like him.
Well, he's a.
You have no idea how racist that sounded, do you, Sport?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have exactly an idea on how.
Thank you, YouTube, for letting us have the show.
Yeah.
He's really not like that.
Thanks for getting us canceled, Jack.
I know.
I've said this since
I really didn't raise him to be like that, folks.
No, that guy's
It's all on his
the
mom.
new Commissioner Gordon. He's a
Great.
great actor. He's a very good actor. He's very competent. He does
I
a
think
good job
Commissioner
as
Gordon needs to be ran
Nice
by
take, Mark.
Yeah, really good. I think Commissioner Gordon, the actor who plays him, needs to be a serious actor, not oh my God, Batman, Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was Tim Burton doing an
He
homage
kept
to the
playing them
series
throughout the other Batman
that way.
movies.
I don't know.
I mean, he could have had a heart-to-heart with the director and says, I would really like to have Commissioner Gordon go a different direction. Even who played Commissioner Gordon in the Gary Oldman, who played Commissioner Gordon in the Christian Bale Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
I was just thinking the same thing, Bo. Billy D. Williams playing Two-Face. That was awful.
That wasn't Two-Face. He was just playing.
He would have been. I think that was going.
Then they
plan,
pulled the
but
plug
things
on
didn't
that.
work.
Nonsense.
They pulled the plug on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
do need to watch those movies soon.
If you wanted to have Bill Murray in your Batman movie, having him play Two-Face would have been fun.
But we can't say for sure because a lot of people argued the fact that what's his name wasn't going to be good as Batman, Michael Keaton. So, we'll never know, I guess.
Yeah, he could have pulled it off.
I mean, the last movie I saw Michael Keaton in was a Spider-Man movie where he played the Vulture.
Yeah,
he played the Vulture.
Yeah,
he played as Spider-Man.
Yeah, did a good job too.
He did a really good job. Yeah.
Really, I haven't seen it, but
it was a good spin on that. The Vulture.
I just keep
lack of hair.
I keep picturing a bald Howie Mandel instead of Michael Keaton. Is that wrong?
Hold
I
on,
mean, no, but I get where you're going. I get what you're.
Because the Vulture was bald, and so was Howie Mandel, and they did kind of look alike. He was Amazeballs as the Vulture.
yeah,
Okay.
he just looks very different than how.
Yeah, balls. Bo, I'm stealing that. Yeah,
Well,
Michael Keaton.
Both stole its marker.
And before, up until recently, when DC decided to pull the plug and not pull the plug into a big restart, Michael Keaton was going to come back to play old Batman in a Batman Beyond movie.
He was going to be in the Flash movie, right?
He still is in the Flash movie.
Oh, he's still. If that's going to happen, I don't know. It's a whole mess, but
technically, yeah. The Flash TV series, about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, did a Crisis of.
I remember. Crisis. I saw the little snippets of that.
And they brought the Batman movie. They brought the Christopher Reeve Superman. They brought all of them. They made them all canon.
Wait, even do you mean the Flash? The Flashpoint? Wait, no, never mind. I'm thinking the wrong
Flash TV show. The Flash that's been on the CW for the last almost 10 years now.
Yeah, and they used to be super good.
You want a happy, go lucky comic book superhero TV show? Go watch The Flash because it is.
And not really.
It was great the first couple of years.
Yeah, season 1, 2, and 3. Specifically, season 1 and 2 are super good. 3, I didn't like the ending. And 4, 3 was fine. Actually, no, 1, 2 were super good. 3 was fine. 4 was good until they killed the greatest character. And they didn't kill him, but they just ruined him.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even like The Flash growing up. I actually did not like The Flash growing up as a kid.
Which character are you talking about?
Wells. Earth 2 Wells.
Oh, Earth. Yeah, okay. I was wondering who you're talking about. All right, we got 9 minutes left. Mark, you just did Batman. Who? I know.
I did Scrooged.
Scrooge.
So it's you or Jack.
Jack?
Nope. It's not my turn. Absolutely not.
Fine, I'll take it. Since we agreed that we're going to continue on the Christmas movie theme, I want to do. It's not Christmas without. It's not Christmas without the Gremlins.
Okay, because I thought you were going to say
Grinch.
No. The other one, Bruce Willis, but Bruce already did that. But Bruce already did it.
Yeah,
so
that's why I was going to do Die Hard, but he already did it. So yeah, I'm going to do. I will be doing the Gremlins. Gremlins is fun.
Jackie's never seen it. I've only seen it once.
Loading the gun.
That was that Robert Zemeckis with Steven Spielberg movie?
I think so. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, Gremlins is a good Christmas movie. But yeah, like I said to Hunger, I kind of wouldn't mind doing a James Bond month if that'd be cool with you guys. The superhero month would be fun. You guys did a superhero month a couple months ago, so I think there's been enough time.
It hasn't been that long.
When we
can wait till June, July before we do it.
Okay.
But James Bond, James Bond movies are just fun. They can be campy. They can be serious. I'm not saying.
Oh yeah, Roger Moore era is pretty.
We all pick a Bond, and we just pick a movie. My 3 favorite Bonds are Pierce Brosnan, Sean Connery, and Daniel Craig.
Pierce Brosnan, hands down, dude.
We could all probably pick one Bond and whatever one Bond movie we think best encapsulates their style or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've seen a single Bond movie, so
yeah.
I think Bond. There's a part of me also wants to do the Lord of the Rings, but that can wait.
That's 6 in a row, unless you're not going to do The Hobbit. If you want to do the just the Lord of the Rings,
That could be fine because
We technically already did the Hobbit. We'll just keep the Hobbit as the cartoon, not the actual live action movies, for simplicity.
I mean, we can revisit it, next year or 9 months from now.
I think the last person to pick for the Christmas ones will be Jack. Then once Jack gets done, we will Aliens maybe do a little sci-fi.
Well, it'll be February. It'll be February, so
watch movies.
Sci-fi month.
That's March.
I'm on board.
I'm sorry. What, Jack?
Nothing at all.
No more dollar store movies.
You're just opening the door for me to get a dollar store movie.
What I want out of Jack with the dollar store movie thing is I want more insight in like how these studios work with the dollars. I mean, they got to have some type. That's what's interesting to me is how these movies are made and the dollar, how they get funded and the dollar. Are they direct? Does Dollar General got their own studio or? That's what's interesting to me about.
You know what's going to happen.
I have a weird feeling that all dollar store movies are created through some weird pagan ritual that I don't know about, and they just kind of come into existence.
Well, there you go. Let's start a what's that conspiracy you guys do with that guy on Saturday nights? There you go. There's a topic for them. Who's that guy you talked to on the quantum?
Nathan Allen. Great show, great guy.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Well, here's the problem with that, Mark. Xenophobia is working on a sequel.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Xenophobia 2 will be the greatest movie to ever exist.
I might have to. I might have to veto that.
Call in sick. I was gonna say.
Hey guys, I don't feel good. I'm gonna set up the show. I'll see you in when they hang up. Yeah, and just let you guys talk about it. I might have to veto that one. But we could have a lot of fun with this. We really could. We could do westerns. We could do sci-fi. We could definitely mix up between movies and books. Let's just what's January, February. February is. I don't. We'll figure something.
Yeah, just obviously we're not doing rom-coms, so
yeah. There's a few rom-coms are funny. Harry Met Sally is fun, but I think that's a little bit too old for Jack.
Well, it's not even that. If it's not sci-fi or fantasy, I'm just gonna not be there.
Yeah. Well, Spaceballs. That's a good rom-com.
Well, it's unfortunate we already did Princess Bride. Because that would have been,
that would have suited for February. Yeah,
and hit all the right buttons. Angle. Hit all the right buttons.
We got 2 weeks to figure it out.
What about Legend? All right, somebody doesn't like that movie at all. I forget.
Legend. Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tim Curry. That's not a bad.
That's got a whole love conquers all thing. Somebody was it you, Shadow? Somebody hates Tim Curry with a passion.
Yeah, I just can't. I ever since I saw him in The Shadow, because mind you, I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show close to 500 times. But once I saw Tim Curry in the movie The Shadow, I could never see him the same way again.
Well, technically, you don't really see him in Legends, considering he's wearing prosthetics.
18 pounds of prosthetics, right. That is considered like a classic. What about Lady Hawk?
There, good one. That's a good idea for
we could make this
February
work.
True Love deal. Yeah,
we can make this work.
What about
Well, we got 2 weeks.
Well, we already did Blade Runner. That was another one, if you think about it. What about I'm trying to think of a sci-fi one.
Yeah.
But we got time. So just gotta
timeline. Timeline's fun.
Never saw it, so I have no idea.
It's a Michael Crichton book that got turned into.
Oh wait, is Cheryl Ladd in it? Plays a chain smoker?
No,
Or is that Millennium?
that's Millennium, I think.
Okay.
No, Billy Connolly's in it. Paul, the guy from the Fast and the Furious, is in it. Gerard Butler's in it. Some French people, some British people. Really good book. It's a really no, we're not doing the 1980s Dunes. We already did that. And if you want to see me have snap again, we could do Dunes, but no one's going to enjoy it. We did that. If you want to watch us talk about Dunes, Fat Gamer. Ooh, one of the Tremors movies.
I watched them all, I think.
One of the Tremors movies could definitely be. I would pick the first one, honestly, if we did Tremors.
I think I watched all of them.
They're good movies.
Hey, Multi, I just saw you in the chat, man. How you doing?
Fat Gamer, if you want to scroll through my videos, you will see that we've already covered the 1980s Dunes. It was one of the first or second ones we got into.
Barbarella? Bo, are you serious? Come on, man.
But
my son has not watched that movie until much later on in life.
I wouldn't even say much later on in life. I would say unless I'm in hell.
It's not a bad movie. It's just a bit old for you, that's all.
Really? You don't remember that one scene?
I've seen far worse movies than that movie.
Yeah,
I saw Xenophobia.
Yeah. No, I know what scene you're talking about.
That's not appropriate.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. Yes.
March, we'll do some.
That's
Irish.
Weird. You really get around the internet there, sport.
No,
I think we should do in March. I think we should do Boondock Saints, but that's just me.
We can do that in March. Irish flavor movies. Sure, that'll work.
There's a lot.
Yeah, we keep spitballing these ideas.
Last Man Standing.
With Bruce
Walken and Bruce Willis.
That's neither sci-fi or fantasy there, Shadow.
What's the one where the guys are all
Western, though.
with Martin Scorsese did with all the guys fighting in New York with Daniel Day-Lewis?
Oh, Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
That is a good movie.
No, that was Kings of New York.
Gangs of New York. Yeah.
Yeah, we just spitball some ideas, but
and don't forget, what is it? Leprechaun.
There you go.
With Anthony Fauci.
Oh, come on. We were behaving. I don't want politics on this channel.
Were we behaving, though? Were we really?
I mean, you're the one who brought up Barbarella.
No,
I'm not the one. Bo did.
That's true.
That was Bo.
Hey, Omen's here. We'll run a little bit later. We can keep going for a little bit longer.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, my dinner's not ready.
Is it?
Barbarella. So
that's going to be the marker when Shadow's dinner is ready. That's when we're going to call it. Kings of New York or Suicide Kings. Suicide Kings with Christopher Walken is also good.
That was the 1980s with him where he's playing
1990s, but yeah. With Dennis Leary, they gave me a whole new respect for toasters.
Well, I just saw Multi-Gun Man try and put Blade Runner 2049. The answer is no. If we're going to watch that, if we're going to watch it, go watch Black Lotus. Blade Runner Black Lotus is far superior to Blade Runner 2049.
All right, so if you didn't catch it, next week we're going to do Gremlins.
Oh, cool.
Then for February, we're just trying to figure out if we could fantasy or sci-fi that has a little bit romantic, but not too romantic twist, I guess. Legends got brought up. Lady Hawk got brought up.
Lady Hawk's a good one.
Thank you.
What about Romancing the Stone?
Romancing the Stone is fun.
That's actually, I mean, it's not sci-fi or fantasy, but it is a really good movie.
That almost fits rom-com pulp adventure.
That could be turned into Romancing the Stone, in my opinion, could be turned into a D&D campaign.
You know what? It could actually be sci-fi too. I can easily see it sci-fi.
or an Indiana Jones campaign, with
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
what's the other one if you really want to get into it?
Oh, wait a minute, guys.
Alan
Bo.
Quartermain.
No, Bo. Ullman. Sorry, I'm looking at Bo's name. Indiana Jones.
The Last Crusade, because I don't think that's watched.
No, the very first.
Oh, okay, very
Jack's
first
never
one?
seen any of them. Jack's never seen any of them.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Indiana Jones, the very first one, wouldn't be out of place with the other movies for February. And sorry for calling you Bo, and Bo, sorry for calling you Omen. But I'm just staring at, because right here where my eyes were, it says Barbarella, and my mind is just like, Bo, you got kids too, man. What the hell?
Raiders of the Ark is technically the first one. Then it's
That's why I said, for Jackie, sake at least, he's never seen it. He would get a kick out of quite a lot of it, especially the bad guy and some other things and the ending.
I actually recommend the first one and the third one and bypass the Temple of Doom.
Everybody hates Temple of Doom, unless you are missing that part of your soul.
Well, the Temple of Doom is just one of those that doesn't seem to apply to. It's like just thrown in. Hey, well, at least let's be honest. The Temple of Doom is still better than the Crystal Skull.
We don't talk about that movie on this channel.
I'm glad.
I'm yet to see if we talk about the new Indiana movie.
Dude, even me, a guy who actually studies that Crystal Skull shit, that movie was an absolute travesty. Just absolute, what?
I don't know. That was a good part when the guy fell off the Jeep and the ants got him. That was pretty awesome.
There are parts of that movie that was good. There was parts.
I like that. I like the actor who played his son. I thought that was well done.
Oh,
but
I do not like that.
Kylo Bluff or whatever the name is.
Shia LaBeouf. If we're gonna do that, if we're gonna talk about this, why don't we do Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Mummy?
Wait.
Well, we gotta decide. We're spitballing ideas for like romantic.
The Mummy does work because Brandon Fraser's character with Rachel, whatever. There's somewhat of a love interest there.
Oh,
Rachel
Watts.
Rachel Watts.
And she and they do get married by the second one, right? So I mean, it's not like they don't get together. There's that whole romantic aspect to it.
If it's fantasy,
it does have a bit of a Robert E. feel to it, doesn't it, Omen?
Yeah. But once again, we're spitballing. I mean, behind the scenes, I'd love for us to get together and actually hammer this shit out. So it's not, hey, what are we picking next week? Or maybe that's part of our charm. I don't know.
If people stood with us this long, I really don't think that they're, at this point, they're throwing everything else out there too. I mean, it's
Yep.
So what are we going? So we're getting Gremlins next week.
We're getting Gremlin, and it's Jack's, unless he picks something up from the dollar store, then I veto it to.
Sorry, Fat Gamer.
Then I vetoed it to Indiana Jones and Raiders of Indiana Jones. So, Jack.
Yes.
So Gremlins is going to end our Christmas movies.
Chris. In theory, I mean, Jack still has
what my pick is, yes.
What?
Depending on what my pick is, yes.
Yes. I mean, you wowed us with you really did. I do say if we pick a book, though, we need to talk about beforehand because those are normally a 2-week process to get through for some of us.
Like I have some books on my shelf that I would like to force myself to read. I'm reading one book right now. It's pretty good. I'd recommend it.
I can imagine the manifesto according to Jack, right?
See, my dad knows exactly what book I'm talking about, and he's just panicking.
I'd rather read Slaughterhouse-Five. Okay.
Is it what?
Is it a little red book? That came from China?
But it's close. It's close.
Not close whatsoever to Maoism.
Wait.
No, he's talking Mein Kampf.
I'm not talking Mein
Oh.
Kampf.
Ooh.
Well,
Yeah,
you-
it
well,
might
you-
not
you-
be a good one.
I know
for you,
I'm
too.
not. Okay, this man is slandering me.
No, it's similar, is all I said.
No, it's not similar whatsoever. All right, I like Jews. Not similar whatsoever.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? You know what I find funny though? In U.S. military, at least up until the 1980s, all officers had to read Mein Kampf.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Most Army
yeah.
officers, and the idea was so they understood what it was.
My,
it was understanding.
grandparents-
That's the problem. Is everyone's like, you can't do this. Like, well, you have to understand your enemy. It's the same thing that's going through a lot
My
of.
grandpa shoved that book, shoved my
But
book in my lap.
see,
And I
Omen,
was
now it's
listening to
hurtful
it.
to call someone your enemy.
Oh, you know what? Well, no. I thought Nazis were still allowed to be your enemy.
Hey, I got a meme. It's like the Uncle Sam poster, but with Captain America says, "Remember, Captain America wants you to punch Nazis."
Well, the problem that I have is that they're starting to identify everyone as Nazis, ignoring the fact that it's that socialist. If you actually look at the manifesto for their thing, it's the socialism that they're trying to push on us now. I'm like, do you not? And they're like,
The
they're
only
not
difference between it is that these guys right now are international globalists, and Hitler was, I mean, he was a nationalist, obviously, but that's not
He was
the only.
No. Look at their platform. Look at their platform, and it's almost
Ooh.
identical to what they're trying to push on us now.
All right.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
We'll circle back to this conversation on my late night chats. I don't mind.
Oh
it
yeah, I
there.
forgot about that.
Actually, you know one book I'd like to read? It's called Rabid, talking about rabies. It's nonfiction. Apparently, it talks about the how much it's affected in things. Oh, I'll tell you, if you really want to have a fun one and we want to get really in there, go read. Because I have it on audiobook, so suck that up. The Real Dr. Fauci. If you can go through a few hours of that without throwing the book in complete disgust of our government, then you're a better man than I.
So I was thinking maybe
I
February.
honestly, Omen, I can't let that book into my house.
It's
I was thinking maybe, and maybe for February. I already had this thought, but I'll throw it back out there. Revenge of the Nerds. It's a bit old for Jack, and that was the hang up. It would be fun
Yeah.
for us to talk
I
about.
don't think it really fits. It's not even action or adventure. You know what I mean?
But
Or
you're telling
I mean,
me that if we did a late night review and we did movies
well,
like
yeah. That's if you caveat with the late night, yeah.
Technically, you're in a little ahead of the goal considering you beat me into the room. But well,
Sorry about that. I accidentally pushed a button on my tablet.
Wait, what?
wait, you push a button and Jack talks to you? What kind of nonsense is that?
No, it was a
Watching his own videos.
no. It was R. Keith Andrews is starting a show, and I always say hi to him. But
if we're gonna go
I
for
just
like
think
old
it's dark now.
movies, I still recommend anyone watching The Big Sleep.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, where he
Or
plays
Casablanca. I actually have a copy of Casablanca that's still sealed.
Casablanca is a great movie, but to be honest, there's a romantic film that we should probably do in February.
Casablanca
Yeah,
doesn't really sit. I'm not opposed to it.
Well, if everybody gets a pick except Jackie,
Hold up.
only because there's
No. Hold on. We go through like what films has Jack never seen, and we have to go figure out the old classics for that. And you're right, Casablanca would be perfect for February.
well, my point was that February is a short month.
Yeah.
Not to push Jackie out of the way. Just it's a short month, and he didn't have a pick. I mean, his pick is coming up, I should say, next after Connell's. But if he doesn't come up with a pick, I don't think he's going to be able to come up with a romantic comedy / sci-fi or fantasy or fiction movie ever.
Oh, come on, the mummy. The mummy's a good one for
No, I know what I mean is if it was his pick.
Wait a minute, and The Fly. There's another.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
There you go.
Or the original Vincent
There
Price.
you go.
The original.
No, the Jeff Goldblum.
I would say you would have to go with the Jeff Goldblum one. Yeah.
For
the late night review.
Actually, hold on, Jackie.
Because I've seen it recently. Holy crap!
Jackie, do you remember the movie The Fly?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
He saw the original Vincent Price. So
I remember that with the the little fly on the head. What got me is when he destroys the spider web at the end. I'm like, really?
Dude, stop. That voice when I was a kid was just, it was like Max and the giant ants. Dude, I just hear that and I would just freaking goosebumps and freaking chills and cringe all up and down my spine, man. That was, I don't know why. It was just, I think it was because I had never heard, voice modulation, sound effects prior to that. And, oh, dude, that was just so, oh, God.
Let's see. Has Jack actually watched the other? I mean, just going through films here. Has Jack watched the original Planet of the Apes?
Ooh, no, he has not.
Wait,
That's
what?
a classic love story if there ever was one.
No, I did watch it.
No, well, it's been like 10 years. I mean, a guy goes to an alien world, meets the perfect woman.
Did we not do a review on that one, or did we
No,
talk about?
no.
Why is she the perfect woman? Because she can't really speak and communicate with them? Is that why she
Oh, I'm not touching that.
doesn't know how to talk? Can't talk back.
What are
And
some
she
other?
was smoking hot.
Yeah.
And she only owned one outfit and didn't care.
Hey, if we're gonna do that, what is?
And wait, just to be even more sexist, didn't own a single pair of shoes.
I know. I was waiting for you to go with the shoe. Yeah, the thing about the shoes. Yep.
Well, if we're gonna do that, what about Raquel Welch? In 10,000 BC.
She didn't really do anything for me in comparison to was it Kim Hunter? Was that her name?
I can't remember, but I know I know her. Yeah, she
Of
was
course
smoking.
you do. Absolutely. I just wow.
What are some other ones? Oh, if you really want to go through a love story, and I'll be honest, I like the newer version for it. What about King Kong, the one done by
There you go. That's
in
a good
2005?
Wait,
Jack Black?
That's a good. That's a great. That's a great. Sci-fi fantasy. pulpy
Yeah,
type.
I hate it. I love that movie, and I hated the movie all at the same time. When it comes to King Kong, I think my favorite King Kong movie as of right now is Skull Island with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, we have that one. It was okay, but it's not. I mean, it's not.
Well, to be fair, I like the 2005 one done by Peter Jackson. But I also liked the 1930s version too, or whatever.
Oh God! So
You know what?
Yeah.
I took my daughter to go see the new King Kong versus Godzilla movie. She watches it. She was basically there for the popcorn and the soda. And she gets out there. It's like, Dad, that movie is so cheesy. I'm like, wait, hold on. You're saying that King Kong versus Godzilla is cheesy, right? She's like, yeah. All right, cool. You're spending the night, right? She's like, yeah, why? We're going to go home and watch the original one.
Well, here's what gets me with the which I really love was the King Kong versus Godzilla. Is it gave you exactly what the title told you. There was no false advertising. There was plenty of Godzilla versus King Kong, and I was quite happy with it. That was the best movie of 2021, I think.
Hello, everybody.
Still haven't seen it.
Well,
It's actually
I need to watch it, but I still haven't.
Jack is still not spoiling anything to know that King Kong and Godzilla fight. Okay.
It's not going to spoil it. No, and it's definitely not my point. I'm saying it's just I really wanted to watch it when it came out, and we just didn't for some reason.
I haven't seen it yet either.
I was walking in the theater to take her to go see Toy Story first. She wanted to see Toy Story, so I figured we'd go see Toy Story, then we'd go see King Kong. Well, do what I used to do as a kid. We make it a double feature.
Sure.
As we're walking into the theater, you can hear Godzilla. No, this wasn't King Kong versus Godzilla. This was the second Godzilla film.
Oh, okay. There, yeah, there was.
No, it wasn't the one down Tennessee. It might have been King Kong versus. Anyways, no, it's the one with King Kong, the King of the Monsters, the one with the 3-headed golden dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ghidra? Was that
Ghidra. You hear King Kong as we're walking in the theater. You can hear Godzilla's roar, and it felt like the theater was shaking when he roared. And my brother and my youngest stepson went to go see that one, as I am taking my daughter to go see Toy Story 4. And I'm like, this is sad. Okay, dear, let's go watch Toy Story. And I'm like, I'd rather go see Godzilla. You want to see Godzilla? I want to see Godzilla. But I'm actually been really happy with the most recent Godzilla movies. I have nothing negative really to say.
Yeah,
they were. I liked them.
They're better than the last one we got in early 2000 and.
Well, let's see. There was Godzilla 2000, which was the pure Japanese version.
Right. No, the one where he's in New York and he didn't step on that one.
Ferris Bueller's in that one.
Matthew Broderick. Yeah, that movie was god awful.
Yeah, but that was the 90s. Wasn't that mid-90s?
Yeah, that was like 96, 7. Yeah.
If he would have stepped on, that guy, the actor, I would have cheered.
Well, you know what? He has to deal with what's her name?
Footface Parker.
Yeah, the horse face. Yeah.
Our Footface. Actually, speaking of actors, do you remember the Superman? It was one of the original Superman where it was Lex Luthor and his nephew. And they were working in a prison cell. I can't think of the guy's name. He was on 2 Angry Men. 2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen.
Oh, Michael what's that guy's name?
Hold on.
John Cryer?
It could be. He played in the Superman movie. He was in 2.5 Men. Right. He played Lex Luthor in the CW Superman. CW Supergirl show.
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to bring this up because you're all talking about romances again. What about Highlander?
That's a bit old. I don't have anything against it, but when they do the love scenes, they really do the love scenes.
Shadow would want Highlander too.
That movie does not exist.
You know me so well, Mark.
That movie does not exist.
The best Highlander of the series.
Oh, Mark, you don't want to hang out with us.
Absolutely.
The director cut or the theatrical one or the Renegade one or I don't know how many cuts they made it. That's another one that's got like 5 different cuts to it.
Okay, people there.
I've only seen it once, and I don't know which one I saw, but it was on TV, and I'm just like, what? What the hell is this? I love it. This is not Highlander, but I love it.
Okay. People in chat, this is how you watch the Highlander series successfully without having too many regrets. First, you watch the first one. Then you ignore the second one and the third one and jump over the TV series, The Highlander, with Adrian Paul. Then you watch that series. Then you watch the movie called Endgame that has Christopher Lambert and the other Highlander in it. And that's how you wrap up that universe. You don't pass go. You don't collect $200. You're done.
I actually enjoyed the series, to be honest.
I enjoyed the series too. That and he kind of looked like he could, when I was a kid, I didn't know what my dad wasn't in the picture. And this guy's the way the guy is built and his color, and I'm like, that guy could be my dad. I kind of look like him, right?
Well, what got me about with Adrian Pauls, there's one scene where they're going over to get little sidetracking, of course, like we normally do, but they're going to go collect whatever the thing is to keep people alive forever.
Yeah.
And what I loved about the fact was, I guess they take out one of the guys. He grabs the shotgun, and the first thing he does is he pumps it. Unlike most of the movies where they just pull the trigger, it's just like I said. There's someone that's actually used a weapon before.
There's a scene. Since we're talking about that, there is a scene in Police Academy where they had the fat guy up, and he shoots and he waves the gun back where all the other recruits are, and only one of them.
I saw that.
Remained
Post
standing
about that. Why that guy didn't duck? Yeah.
Because he knew that they only had only one round in a chamber, and it was spent. The gun is now a club.
Well, I'll say this much though: my fellow almost blew off his foot thinking that one time because it was a single shot shotgun, and he shot, and while he wasn't looking, someone had loaded around, and he was this far away from shooting his foot. Yeah. I mean, he put a hole in the floor, but he originally had it on his foot. It's like, I'll just move a little over.
There is a part of me that loved do The Crow. The Brandon Lee.
That's another February appropriate one too. Yeah, you got a lot of ideas. February.
No, it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one.
I mean, I'm not saying we'll pick whichever ones we pick, but
that actually could fall either Halloween or Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Actually, no. Both Paints minis. The whole point of shooting the shotgun was they weren't fighting other immortals; they were fighting normal humans. But I just thought it was interesting. Was the fact that was the one thing I just remember because I'm like, there's a guy that's actually used a gun before.
I appreciated that show that they every once in a while they would do a comedy episode.
That show had so many famous guest actors. Roger Daltrey from The Who. I can't think of the real person's name, but the guy who played Xavier St. Cloud was the lead singer from Fine Young Cannibals. And it had Anthony Head in it from who was later whatever in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah,
that show had a lot of really that pro wrestler.
Well, they had one pro. I mean, a lot of these shows had. It's interesting on that. I'm trying to think of what other movies are out there that are good for all this stuff.
But I gotta bounce out, guys. But So Gremlins for next week, right?
Right, yeah. Gremlins.
All right, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys next week. Later. Bye.
I think you muted yourself. I just saw his mouth move, and I didn't see anything.
The not the latest one, but the Jurassic World, the first of the new trilogy, I want to say is a rom-com because it's a rom-com between the Christopher character and the Utah Raptor. Because boy meets girl, girl meets falls in love. The new kid comes in, which was that mutant weird crossbreed one. Girl leaves boy for new jock.
Then I was on sort of a date for that one, and my date said, "Oh hell no!" We left like halfway through the movie. I just thought it was hilarious.
It was a high school love story. If you look at it from a really weird angle, it was a high school love story.
If you look at it from a really gay angle, is what you meant to say.
Well,
he's talking about the Beastmaster and bestiality there. So much for.
We did Beastmaster.
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying that there's the uncut version of Beastmaster. No,
I mean, the TV show did kind of get weird.
Yes.
If we're going to talk about that, we can watch Joe Exotic.
Just watching Shadow as he's trying to.
Hell no.
You're not? No.
Wow. Sorry about the noise, guys.
I mean, for a later show, I think it'd be kind of fun. I'm not trying to disclude you, Jack, but there are movies out there that'd be fun to talk about that are just too old for you. Or you just would not enjoy, period.
I'm trying to think of the. No, I mean, I was trying to think of just fun movies that we're talking about. The Mummy was a really good one. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Tremors. Tremors is a fun.
Tremors is fun too.
Yeah,
with Bert.
Yeah. Oh man, Kevin Bacon's character. She will have long blonde hair, big blue eyes, legs that go all the way up, and the other things he said. And he falls in love with a short-haired brunette who wears glasses that are not, and it's like, you wanted a supermodel and you got the nerd. I can live with this.
Okay. I'm going to throw out just a comedy that I really love. If you're going to just start throwing out this, but Talladega Nights.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Why was I thinking of Boy and His Dog? I don't know.
Oh, geez, I remember that one too. Oh, with Don Johnson and his what was that? One of his first ones. I remember seeing that on USA. In the late night, stuff. Where, can I spoil it? Because I don't think we're gonna. At the end of the movie, where they're going over and after they have the big fight, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do for food, and he picks the dog over the girl, and they're eating her at the end.
That's epic.
Yes, it was.
Jack, I actually have a first print of that book, or at least I used to. I hope I still have it.
What are you gonna say, Connell?
I mean, that's definitely Jack approved.
Well, it's a love story. I mean,
oh, it's so boring though to watch some of these. Like, let's get something that at least has some fun and action in it.
Did you? I'm not saying this, recommending this for something we review, but Omen, did you ever watch the TV series on Netflix called The Ranch?
No, actually, the funny thing is I have never gotten Netflix, and
if you ever get a chance to watch, not get Netflix, but ever get a chance to watch The Ranch, Sam Elliott's in it as a rancher, and the cast is really good. It has the love interest of John Travolta from Urban Cowboy. She plays Maggie as the mom. It's fun. It's funnier than hell.
Although Blacklist is freaking epic. I'm not going to lie.
Blacklist. The problem with doing a TV series, honestly, for this channel,
no,
is we either review the pilot,
or the season, or a season, and that's too much.
Yeah, I'd almost say just the freaking pilot.
I'm going to say, what about Cannonball Run?
Oh dear God! Want to talk a classic double feature: Cannonball Run and Future World.
I haven't seen Future World, but I've seen Cannonball Run.
Have you seen Westworld? That's a classic.
Yeah,
we have to do it when we do the Wild West month, which would be lovely to do in April. Hint, hint.
Speaking of epic, if you're going to talk about Neil Brennan, one of my favorite actors, let's not forget the
Magnificent Seven.
Hell yeah! And we're going to also talk about, if you're going to talk about it, is the Ten Commandments. If you're going to talk about April.
Chuck Heston, he was as a kid my first favorite actor. Everything he did was just absolutely.
I don't know. Everything about that movie just gives me heartburn. I tried to watch it here recently just to go back to the old classics. I turned that movie off halfway.
Ben-Hur?
Ben-Hur was another one I tried to watch here recently, and I just can't do it. Yeah. I just.
Ben-Hur has the most classic as far as the chariot races.
I love the chariot races. It's just the acting.
Think of the money, the equivalent money in today's,
No, they remade Ben-Hur not that long ago.
Oh, that was horrible. That was so horrible.
And I'll say it wasn't good. It's like watching Oh, the old Cleopatra movie with
I don't know who you're talking about. She was married to him.
yeah, the old one. I'm
Liz
talking
Taylor with Liz Taylor.
Yeah, Elizabeth
And I'm
Taylor.
like, the scenery is absolutely gorgeous. The light, everything about this movie is absolutely gorgeous. Then you get to the actors. I'm like, I can do without.
Well, I'm saying, but no, the Ben-Hur to me was great. The Ten Commandments was great because you get to watch that whole thing. And what's the other? To be fair, is I like almost everything that Charlton Heston's been in.
That's right. Omega Man.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in like 40 freaking years. I've even got the book, also first print. Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to do that one eventually. We did Blood Green.
Do Apocalypse Month. Because with Apocalypse style month, you could fit in Mad Max, you could fit in Omega Man, you could fit in Escape from New York or LA, dealer's choice.
Escape from New York is the only escape movie.
Yeah, New York. After
Judge Dredd. You can push Judge Dredd in there.
Just Dredd.
Just Dredd. Okay, whatever.
No,
but there are movies out there that we could definitely fit into that one. Apocalypse. Yeah. So
Shadow, did you watch the 2012 Dredd with Keith Urban? Oh, okay.
Apparently, it's race time in my backyard. What movie?
The 2012 Dredd movie. With
no, I didn't. I actually liked Stallone in it. Most people hated that movie, but I really enjoyed that movie a lot. For not just Stallone, but Rob Schneider, absolutely huge fan of him on and off camera. I know everybody hates him, but
I don't hate him. I just didn't like him in that movie.
No, I hated that part of the movie. No, if you actually look at Dredd, the 2012, Keith Urban does a fantastic job of playing.
Oh, I can totally picture it. It was just, for the time and considering Stallone's previous movies, for him to do a sci-fi movie, that was perfectly, fitting for him at the time.
No, wait. If we're going to do that, I'd much rather go Demolition Man.
I'm not opposed to Demolition Man.
Because it's modern.
I really didn't enjoy that movie that much. I can't stand Sandra Bullock, and because she reminds me of an ex-girlfriend. And
Rob Schneider's in that movie too.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, Sylvester Stallone, yeah, but look at what that was in the 90s, and we thought that it was so insane for that. And look at
I know you're absolutely correct. And here we are.
Yeah, yeah. But I was thinking that it was great. Yes. See you later, Flatty. But no, I was thinking that because it's hilarious. Watch this. I don't know. I just started crocheting, there's a lot of just humor, especially when he eats the rat burgers.
This is the best damn rat burger I've had. Anyways.
Well, it's like, you know what that is? It's like, it's real meat. They're like, it's made from rats. He's like, I thought that was good. But no, you were speaking.
What was the other one that came out?
Hey, Bo, I'm going to stick with my TS12. Just saying.
But yeah, we can start doing theme months. I'm not opposed to that one.
That's what my channel's been doing since the beginning, Jack?
Almost, yeah.
Theme months that's what we do, It makes it really easy. I'm telling you, folks, makes it real easy to line everything up and stick with, whatever it is you're working on or doing. It just keeps that whole momentum going. And then when you're done, you're like, cool, let's do something totally new and get into something, and it lets you kind of get that deep dive feeling, for whatever theme you're rolling with.
Well, April's Easter. I mean, that's the perfect time to go
April, watch. I think April we're doing Westerns. You wanted?
Western.
God, I got a couple Westerns I absolutely love. One of them is
Outlander. Anybody? That was a Western.
I haven't seen Outlander. Isn't that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the series Outlander.
With Sean Connery in space.
Oh yes, yeah. I like that one. Oh yeah, it's done by the same people that did all the backdrops for Aliens, so you can see a lot of stuff that seems to go over for it. That's one. The other one, the Magnificent Seven. You have to have that one in there.
Absolutely.
Cowboy Bebop.
It is kind of, but it's a little. It's like half Western, half. What?
Cowboys versus Aliens with Harrison Ford, Daniel
That
Craig.
that was not awful.
The premise was awful, but the movie wasn't too bad.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, who greenlit this movie and then allowed A-list actors into it?
I mean, technically,
I think it was a spin-off of Ancient Aliens in the History Channel. Just saying.
John Crichton movie from Disney's a Western in a very loose term.
Which movie?
The John Crichton.
You're talking about John Carter?
Carter, yeah, Carter. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It totally is a Western. Totally.
Very, very, very loose term.
I watched the movie and then I was rereading. Then I was listening to the books and audio, and I just went, I remember why I love this thing so much. And I just went, oh, I wish the movie was close but not quite. It was one of those things like, why can't you guys just follow the entire book for the entire movie? But apparently Disney sabotaged it.
See, that makes too much sense.
Well,
it's like
because the one they were trying to make it not.
Hey, I'm gonna dip. The food's ready, so I'm gonna go eat it.
Oh, all right, guys. I'm starving, and it's been a nice chat. I will see you guys when I see you. Probably I'll see you tomorrow morning, Holman, on somebody's channel. Correct?
Okay.
The old geek.
Well, so I'll
take care, guys.
All right, take care, Shadow.
I'm thinking tomorrow evening, probably after 10. Me and you are on the same time zone, I think.
Yeah,
what time is it there?
I will have to see. So I'll have to figure out. Well, no.
But if you have your son, then don't.
No. He's being dropped off tomorrow. I was thinking more of. I try to see him with work, but I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be teleworking that day. So.
It's really Tuesday. I'm thinking about doing a hangout. Sometime tomorrow evening. Or I might do it a little bit later on tonight. Give me some time to eat and whatnot. But if you got your kid, we could definitely wait till tomorrow.
What? Oh, for this? Well, he's fine if you want to hang out a little bit. I don't have to go and work tomorrow until I don't have to get up till 6:30, so I'm pretty good. As long as I'm in for 11:30.
There's a part of me that wants to eat dinner and just crawl into bed and call it a day.
You can do that too. Should we just end the live stream and we can talk a little bit about this?
Yeah. Hey, everybody in chat, thank you for hanging out with us and listening to our shenanigans. If we're talking about a topic that you want to throw in your 2 cents, please put a chat out there. And if there's a spot open and then I know you, such as Bo or Kai, please come join us. I will always have a spot open for Hunger, even if he's in and out really quick. I'll always have a spot open for him. Everybody here have a safe evening. Happy New Year's and have a good night.
Hope you had a Merry Christmas for Orthodox.
That too.
Yes.